After a troubled start in her Kentucky Oaks run, third-place finisher Midnight Bisou's connections have been eager for a rematch. Today, they'll get their chance. After a blowout win in the Grade 2 Mother Goose, Midnight Bisou looks like she has taken a huge step forward, making this Kentucky Oaks rematch a true heavyweight battle for division supremacy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Sunday edition of Saratoga Live, presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We continue our opening weekend festivities with a sensational heavyweight battle in the Coaching Club American Oaks between the two top fillies in the country. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met and Los Angeles Dodger Paul LaDuca. Not just the first and third place finishers, first, third, fourth, and fifth place finishers from the Kentucky Oaks, all back in this race. The only one who was not here, Wonder Godot, who came back and won the first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown. We're going to see her in the Alabama in mid-August. But right now, the undisputed leader of this division, Monomoy Girl. She is undefeated, four graded stakes wins as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, she's got one blemish on her resume, and it was a second-place finish, but she's been nothing but spectacular. On June 9th in the Acorn, she basically just won this race with ease, beating a very nice other 3-year-old filly, and talk her to me. Listen, her Kentucky Oaks win, she won from the 14 hole and was able to fend off, like you were saying, Wonder Godot, the Queen's Plate winner. Class here for this Brad Cox runner.
You can play all these races we're showing you, including the Coaching Club American Oaks, by getting signed up and started with Naira Bets. $200 new member sign-up bonus. Use the promo code Saratoga Live. New members can also participate in the Travers Bankroll Builder every Saturday to get a $100 Travers bet. Go to nairabets.com to get signed up and started. Well, that is the undisputed leader. We're going to check in now downstairs at the paddock with New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling, one of the top trainers in the country, Tom Amos, who happens to have a filly in this race as well, the fifth-place finisher from the Kentucky Oaks in Chocolate Martini. Guys, this heavyweight battle is going to be fun.
We're going to give the bad news to Tom right away. There's some pretty good horses in this race, Tom, and not just Monomoy Girl. The question, obviously, with Midnight Bisou, who was the easiest of winners in the Mother Goose, was it that the competition was weaker? Did she improve for Steve Asmussen? Because the speed figures suggest she didn't really get that much faster. She's very good, but can she overcome the pace advantage as well of Monomoy Girl?
Yeah, maybe the other question is, was she better or at her best going that one-turn distance? She goes back to 2 turns today. Look, these two fillies stand out in this race as far as I'm concerned. We're looking at Midnight Bijou there in the one-turn Mother Goose, who really dominated a group of horses. And whatever you want to make of that group, other than Monomoy Girl today, there's nothing like those two horses in this field today. My hope, of course, running Chocolate Martini in this race, is that they pay too much attention to each other and maybe something crazy happens up front. I think that Florent Giroux, a Monomoy Girl, has got to keep Midnight Bijou in her sights and keep her challenged early on in the race.
No, I agree. Midnight Bijou is not going to let Monomoy get away from her in this race. We'll still see if it's enough to get it done. There's a lot going on in this race, and anytime rider Mike Smith comes to town, it seems to be big news, right, Maggie?
Isn't that the truth, Andy? And they don't call him Big Money Mike Smith for nothing, as he will be aboard Midnight Bisou again, as he dominated the competition last time out. But Mike has enjoyed a lot of success here in New York, including winning the last 2 editions of our marquee race here in the Travers with Arrowgate and West Coast. And to top off this Hall of Fame career with just a little icing on the cake, this year he won our Triple Crown with Justify, remaining perfect in his career. But today it's all about the fillies, as he'll be aboard Midnight Bisou again, and he seems to fit this filly like a glove. And he is a very heady rider, and he'll know how to get, I'm sure, into Florent Giroux's head a bit on Monomoy Girl. And Mike also knowing this Saratoga racecourse, as he brings a lot of fans out here to see him. I'll be looking forward to seeing Mike in the paddock, but I want to check in with Gabby Gaudette, as she is actually standing by with the other horse. That is Monomoy Girl back at the Brad Cox barn.
Maggie, thank you very much. Yes, here on the backstretch, standing just outside of the stall of Monomoy Girl as she's making her final preparations for the coaching club, American Oaks. And, well, there's one thing that's for sure. Her quirks have been well documented. We saw them in the Rachel Alexander. We saw them in her lone defeat in the Goldenrod. And we even saw them in the Kentucky Oaks. I did get the chance to speak with Brad Cox yesterday, just asking him about how she's acclimated here to Saratoga. And he said the first couple of days, she was quirky. She was looking around in her training, but each and every day she continued to get stronger, more focused, and more professional. And that's exactly what we have seen from her performances here this season. So I think that that is definitely a vote of confidence. She is coming into this race. The Connections have a lot of confidence too, and you can see here behind me, guys, she has her game face on just from kind of watching her demeanor and her temperament. She knows it's game day.
Well, just to echo those sentiments a little bit, Florent Giroux, he talked about that Kentucky Oaks after that victory and said, yeah, if you tap her a little bit too much, and he started to in that race, she can stop on you, so he's got to be very careful.
Yeah, you got to be very careful with her. And sometimes some horses don't really like it, and it doesn't really give you an advantage as he's having a little fun there.
It is going to be an incredible showdown. How much better has Midnight Bisou become? She looks sensational in the Mother Goose. Everyone's wanted to see the rematch. We are going to get it today. Our show begins with a late pick 4, race 7. Kicks it off, 7 furlongs, maiden special weight coming up. The 8th race will go a mile over the inner turf. The main event, race 9, Grade 1 Coaching Club, American Oaks, and we'll close out the card on the turf in race 10, maiden special weight, a mile over that inner turf. That goes off at 6:20 p.m. Eastern. Weather and track conditions presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of the Saratoga Racecourse. Piranha on, pests gone. Main track, fast turf is firm for today's action. Beautiful weather on this Sunday afternoon. Let's set up the first leg of this late pick 4. Again, a maiden special weight, 7 furlongs. We expected the 9 big birthday for Chad Brown to take a lot of attention for career start number 3, and that is the case.
Yeah, for owner Peter Brandt. And a filly they paid $575,000 for that has progressed nicely in 2 starts for Chad. And the other horse in here taking the money, Golden Award, 3rd start for Hall of Fame trainer Billy Mott, who I think is the other horse in here. And then French Empire, the 3 for George Weaver, is taking some money.
Let's take a look at what you came up with here for this pick 4 sequence.
Well, listen, you know, I didn't want to spend too much money because, listen, if Monomoy Girl wins or Midnight Bisou, you're splitting hairs. So I tried to single in here and try to make a little money. So I'm going to go with Golden Award because I think this horse will be second choice. 2, 3, 4, 5 in race number 8. I'm going to use the 2 fillies that I think are going to be tough to beat, obviously, with Midnight Bisou and Monomoy Girl. Try to get my price in race number 10. If you got a little bit more in your budget, try to all that race and just see if you can get a little bit lucky. But, yeah, we'll know our fate after race 1.
Pick 5, the Naira Bets late pick 5. It's already underway. We tell everyone you got to get involved in this. Here's a good example why. This is from Saturday. 50-cent late pick 5. It was as chalky, really, as you could expect, with the exception of that last race where you got a 5-to-1 shot. It paid $1,000. The only difference between the pick 4 and the pick 5 was an 8-to-5 favorite in the first leg of the Naira Bets late pick 5. The pick 4 paid $186,
Crazy.
as opposed to just over $1,000 in the pick 5.
The day before that, it paid $446 for 50 cents, and it paid $10,000 or $11,000 in the pick 5, $440 in the pick 4. So pick 5 is the play.
Well, the pick 4 begins right now. We're 17 minutes to post. Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott sending out Golden Award, guys, as we send it downstairs to Andy and Tom.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Tom, looking at the odds for the daily doubles, actually, Golden Award number 5 is likely to be your post-time favorite. And I'm not surprised. She has the biggest buyer speed figure in her last race, and she's cutting back from a 1-turn mile of 16th to 7 furlongs. For my money, she should have won last time. The horse who beat her in that race, Presumptuous, she was 0 for 22 or something going to the race. Just always found ways to lose. And this is not the kind of horse I want to lean on as the favorite.
Well, give her a break. She's only started twice. But I hear
she
where
can
you're
win,
coming
but
from.
I'm just a little worried about that.
Blinkers on in her last start, so maybe some things that helped her a lot, but perhaps took away her focus at the end of the race as well. But I get it. I get why the 5 is the price. The horse that surprises me the most on the board is the 3 French Empire at 4-1. This horse, and George Weaver's a great trainer and knows his horses, but there is nothing in that pedigree to suggest dirt. And here we go from the grass, and a pretty decent effort that day to the dirt.
I agree, and George is a very sharp trainer, has had one great meet after another up here. But if you were betting this horse, you want about 12-1, and right now you're getting a much shorter price. I happen to agree with Tom about all of that. The 9 Big Birthday, the current favorite for Chad Brown, likely second choice by post time. I think both Tom and I think this one may be the horse to beat. She was sort of against it last time in a race that was dominated by 2 speed horses in there, and actually ran well, making a big wide middle move in there. Gets a good outside post. The benefit of that race, second off a layoff. I thought she was the horse to beat.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Big Birthday is the best horse in the race coming in. But horses oftentimes make that improvement from first to second starts. So we have to talk about the horse inside of her, Ascot Walk, the 8 horse.
No, I agree, and I'm with you on Ascot Walk. We talked a little before the show. This is the long shot you want to use if you want some coverage with a horse outside of the 5 and 9 who are both perfectly logical in here. Ascot Walk, this horse, talking about being against the grain of a race, she made a big, huge wide middle move in there and actually ran just fine.
And she ran a really uneducated race, and that's no knock on the trainer. It is impossible to simulate a race when you're training in the mornings. Maybe you get 1 or 2 other horses in the gate with you when you're going for gate approval, but when you get in a big field, everything changes. She's got her head up in the air. She's taking dirt in her face. She's not used to that, but she settles down. She makes a bit of a run and then gets a little tired at the end. Great learning experience. Horses improve the most from their first to second start. Look for her to improve today.
And also as a trainer, Tom, first-time starters winning, yeah, sometimes they're very talented and you can't help but win. But overall, aren't you sometimes better off getting them a race or 2 to get themselves to learn the game?
A lot of trainers prepare that way. One of the best, D. Wayne Lucas, prepares them that way.
Well, they're in the paddock. They're maidens. We'll see what Maggie thinks. Maybe the 3 is a horse that looks like a dirt horse to her. Let's get her thoughts on race number 7.
I would say no, Andy, but I'm very scared of that filly because she is taking so much money for the ever dangerous kind of spa trainer, if you will, and George Weaver. But let's check in with your current favorite. That's number 9, Big Birthday, as she's second off of a layoff here for Chad Brown. And she feels like a filly that may take a little racing to get fit here, and it's kind of showing. I mean, she looked pretty fit off the bench back on June 30th, and today she's just a bit more tight overall. Now, I feel as though she's tried the mile, she's tried the 6, and maybe the 7 furlongs will be just right for her. So all things good here with your current favorite. Moving on to one that has burned some money in her first 2 starts. It's number 5, Golden Award. Now she'll turn back in distance, and I must say that I was on the same line of thinking as Bill Mudd in that she looks like a horse who would relish a route of ground. But sometimes it is true that these bigger, rangier fillies that do tend to work well in the mornings, sometimes they just want to sprint a bit. I like her here as I have in her first 2 outings. We'll see how she handles the 7 furlongs overall. Number 4, Communal, is very interesting to me. The race came up a bit on the slower side where her stablemate, Cosita Mia, did win at first asking, but I almost prefer Communal in the paddock that day. And Tom Albertrani had said that he really didn't want to run both of them together. She was a big price at 22-1, but that Communal was supposed to run down at Gulfstream over the wintertime, but acted up pretty badly and I think was a late scratch. She does have that in her to be a little obstreperous. They did bring her over here wearing a hood. That's because of walking through the crowds and everything to keep her settled, and she has been so far. I still like this filly. To me, she looks fit. If anything, she's put on a little more muscle mass, which I really appreciate and think at a decent price she might be worth a look. Number 3 is French Empire. As you heard the guy saying, I don't get her. She was running in a Gulfstream race in early June when the competition isn't that great. She looks like a turf horse to me. She's kind of all legs, very angular overall, even has to wear a breastplate because she is on that very narrow side. It doesn't make sense to me here in the paddock either. Also, you can see she's wearing some earplugs, but she's been quiet. I don't know, guys. I'm scratching my head down here in the paddock as to why French Empire is here on the dirt.
That report brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000. Thank you, Maggie Wolfendale. 4-1 right now on French Empire. Dirt for start number 2 for the daughter of Street Sense out of an Empire Maker mare.
Yeah. You know, you never know. There is a hidden work in there on July 2nd that obviously they must have liked over the training track and then came back with a slow work. One of my kind of works, 105. The slower the better for me. So this is a filly that's taking money at the window, though.
And maybe one of the storylines of this race, the 7 furlongs in this spot. Here's a look at the 5 Golden Award. Her first 2 starts have come at a mile and a 16th. She showed pace in start number 2, and now she shortens up a little bit.
Yeah, she put blinkers on, too, and I think that helped out her pace. Her first time out, she sort of broke flat-footed and just ran around there and just passed like a couple tired foes late. And then Bill Mott ran her out there about 4 weeks later. Now he's sort of like taking his time with her, and I think he was getting her ready for this meet. That's why I like her at 3-1. I think she's going to be a handful in here. At least she's going to have the stamina edge on a lot of these.
Still holding as the favorite, however, another filly with 2 starts under her belt. She made her 2018 debut back on June the 30th at Belmont, which actually shortened up to 6 furlongs. Here's the Chad Brown filly, daughter of Mineshaft, Big Birthday. Javier Castellano hops aboard for the first time.
Yeah, the interesting part about the 9 and the 1, both the Chad Brown runners, they've both been working at Monmouth Park. So what do you make of that? It's really hard to gauge, but this is a filly by Mineshaft that's run well in 2 starts. Mike Smith was aboard last time and ran a decent third. Draws a cozy outside position here at 5-2.
Yeah, Mike Smith for Chad Brown last time out. How about that? There she is. She is the 5-2 current favorite. You see that pick 4 pool, 426,000 and growing. Still plenty of time to get down at Naira Bets. You can also get involved and play without risking any of your own money on Saratoga Live with the Saratoga Showdown. Compete with fellow fans for real prizes like 50,000 Naira Bets points and an entry into a sweepstakes for a 2019 Belmont Stakes ticket package. Go to Naira.com/showdown to enter. I got involved today.
You did?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
I want those tickets.
All right.
9 minutes to post in race number 7. Kicks off this late pick 4 coming up. Our post parade here is next. And always interesting to see 3-year-old fillies, obviously, lightly raced here in this group. Who's going to take that next step forward? And we, of course, have some other wrenches thrown in here, like French Empire. Debuted on grass. How will she take to the dirt, the 3 filly, as we take another look at the favorite?
It's an interesting group, very eclectic group. You want to try to get your price. The 8 did not run bad first time out. Ascot Walk. There's a couple others in here that you can go to. Communal. The 4, let them all the way around the racetrack, and you're getting 11-1 and just got beat late at 22-1 first time out. So there's plenty of value on this board.
Call to post from Sam the Bugler. The horses make their way onto the track. And we're going to kick things off with a Chad Brown runner who's actually being ignored a little bit on the board. Just a second-time starter. We will see My Big Italian Friend first here in a moment at 2016 Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sale. Grad Jose Ortiz aboard.
Yeah, look, she should improve, as most horses do from her debut. That makes her a dangerous horse in here. 8-1 with Chad Brown.
Celia's Song is the 2. Her 2 starts came at Churchill Downs.
Been favored in both of her starts and really hasn't run that well in any of them. She did break a bit slowly last time out, but she'd need to improve.
Here's the filly whose debut came on turf at Gulfstream for George Weaver, French Empire.
Yeah, I really think she's going to have to overcome her pedigree. I don't see any dirt ability, but plenty of grass ability in that family.
Communal, start number 2 for Tom Albertrani, showed speed first out.
She has that speed, and she ran well in her first start at 22-1, and she's still a solid price here, but her race was not as fast as some of the others.
Golden Award has become the co-favorite with Big Birthday for Bill Mott, start number 3, and cuts back in distance.
Well, she's been the beaten favorite in her last 2 starts. She's going to shorten up for today's race.
D. Wayne Lucas, he'll send out Say It Softly with Manny Franco aboard.
D. Wayne Lucas won a race the first weekend, 115-1 with the maiden last year. This one's not that price, but would be a big upset.
Kingdom's Queen, another one who was trying the dirt for the first time. This one for David Dunk.
Yeah, and just like the 3, there's nothing to support this move. This would be a shock if she runs well.
Ascot Walk, trained by Kieran McLaughlin. Shadwell Stable, Joe Bravo rides.
Yes, as Tom and my long shot in this race can easily improve off a trip in her debut.
And still the favorite here, Big Birthday for Chad Brown, Javier Castellano aboard.
Yeah, look, I think she's the most likely winner in this race after a fast race where she was 3rd in her last start.
That is your field for the start of this late pick 4 on Sunday at Saratoga, approaching $500 million in the pool. We're going to step aside for a short timeout. Still to come when we return. Stainless. She was second to Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf winner Rushing Falls, a 2-year-old. readying for her 3-year-old debut for last year's leading trainer. That's still to come.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Cleveland Farm.
They're on. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushers out of there that take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Success starts at Saratoga. The Saratoga Selected Yearling Sale has established a reputation for high quality and high performance. Recent graduates include Grade 1 winners Avenge, Bolt d'Oro, and Moonshine Memories, and 2017 Breeders' Cup champions Battle of Midway, Stormy Liberal, and Rushing Fall. The nation's #1 sale by percentage of Grade 1 winners. The Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sale, August 6th and 7th.
We found Breeders' Cup champion Rushing Fall at Saratoga. Where will you be?
Visit Rivers Casino and Resort, upstate New York's ultimate entertainment destination, with live table game action and the hottest new slots paying out millions. Book your luxury waterfront room or suite at upstate New York's premier resort, the Landing Hotel at Rivers Casino and Resort.
Pleasure to be joined by owner Mike Dubb here in the boxes. And Mike, sending out my big Italian friend. You're a guy who likes to name your horses after friends. Who's this one named after?
This is named after Marco Traiano, my big Italian friend for life. Great guy.
Well, also, I want to talk to you about your filly that you have coming up a little bit later in the CCA Oaks, and it's quite a matchup between your Monomoy Girl and Midnight Bisou. I mean, as a horse racing fan, how fun is it to watch this, but how much is your heart racing when it's your own?
My heart is racing just thinking about it because it's Saratoga, but it's great racing. I'm almost excited that Midnight Bisou is in the race. I want a great race, and win, lose, or draw, that's what it's about, great racing.
And she's just been great and unbelievable this year as well. I mean, only one small blemish by a neck on her entire resume. Talk about her development under Brad Cox.
Brad, I very rarely see a plan that's laid out as picture perfect as Brad has laid this out. Hasn't missed a beat. Every race right on target, every move right on target, hasn't deviated a bit, and she's a willing participant. It's been phenomenal. He's done an incredible job.
Looking forward to seeing her a little bit later, but also talking about plans. You have made many plans and arrangements for both backsides here at Saratoga and at Belmont. Talk a little bit about your redesign as far as the dorms are concerned here on the backstretch on Oklahoma.
Well, on the Oklahoma side, I was with Glenn Kozak, who takes care of the property, and about 5 or 6 years ago on the back of a napkin, I kind of took the existing block buildings and did a redesign and showed them how we could get, nice windows, nice roof, and new bathrooms, and really have a better building. And so over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, we've redone about 20 of those buildings. There's still a long, long way to go, and that's what we're trying to get done.
Is that napkin in a frame now?
No, but it was easy. As you know, I'm a home builder, and this is what I do. So I designed it, Glenn hired the builders, and he got it done.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for philanthropic work here on the backside, and best of luck with both your fillies here today.
Thank you so much.
All right, Greg.
Michael Dubb, he had gone to the Kentucky Oaks twice before with Condo Commando, 9th in 2015. Grace Hall, 3rd back in 2012. He felt this year, though, he went in with supreme confidence, really felt they had the right filly this time, and that proved to be correct.
Yeah, it really did. And you could see, wow, array of picks. Everybody. I think it's the first time with a different pick here. This is interesting, and I like it a little bit.
All over the board, and again, it is Michael Dubb's filly. The other Chad Brown runner, the one, My Big Italian Friend, being ignored a little bit at 8-1 on the board. And this is a filly who is a sister to Currency Swap, who's a graded stakes winner right here at Saratoga.
Yeah, Currency Swap made over $459,000 and was an Amsterdam winner. I'd like to send it downstairs real quick. What do you make of the two Chad Brown horses working at Monmouth?
Some technical issues. We'll get back to those guys after this race concludes. Loading up for the start of the late pick 4. Golden Award for Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott. The 5 has become the favorite on the board. Chad Brown with the 9 Big Birthday, and Michael Dubbs, Chad Brown filly, My Big Italian Friend from the rail, makes her second start. We're set. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
Big Birthday is the last one to load here, coming up to the outside stall. Goes forward and in. And they're all in line. They're off, and a bad stumble at the break by Celia's Song has left her at the rear of the field. It is Ascot Walkin', Big Birthday on the outside. Here comes Golden Award on through with French Empire. My Big Italian Friend is down toward the rail. Celia's Song is rushing through an opening in between horses after that early stumble and is going all the way up into battle for second position up the backstretch. So it is Golden Award up top. The lead is 1.5 lengths. On the outside, Ascot Walk is second through a 22.44 quarter. Celia's Song is third. And then it's French Empire fourth on the inside, followed by Big Birthday. Say It Softly is in between horses. My Big Italian Friend on the inside. Then Kingdom's Queen and Communal. Around the far turn, Golden Award. And Junior Alvarado out there in front. They lead it by 1.5 lengths over Ascot Walk-In, second through a 45.66 half mile. Big Birthday third and charging up 3 wide. French Empire fourth toward the inside. Then it's Say It Softly, followed by Kingdom's Queen and My Big Italian Friend. They're into the stretch. Golden Award on top at the top of the lane. Ascot Walk on the outside runs at Golden Award a furlong out. And then comes French Empire. Big Birthday on the outside. It is Ascot Walk on the outside, and on the inside, Golden Award. These two coming down to the line. Ascot Walk's got it close to home. Ascot Walk and Joe Bravo to do it. Golden Award was second. French Empire third. Then Big Birthday in 1:23.27.
Ascot Walk, start number 2 for the Kieran McLaughlin barn, outgaming Golden Award for the victory.
Yeah, no excuses for the 5. Got away with a fairly easy lead, and we just got tracked by the Shadwell runner here, and it's just going to go right on by here.
It was a fairly substantial pace, actually, considering on the base we've seen. They were moving, but the truth is that the winner, Ascot Walk, was right there outside of her anyway, and she drew the best horse. A great call by you, Tom, in picking her, and a perfect example of a horse that had a bit of a trip in its debut, getting better circumstances second time out.
Tremendous education in her first start. You knew right from the break, she broke sharpest of all, laid second right off the bat. You knew you were going to get a good effort from her today. Was she good enough to beat the group was the question. Ran a nice race.
8-1 to kick off the late pick 4. Ascot Walk, career start number 2. Comes through with the victory here. And, yeah, you would have felt Golden Award shortening up in distance. Getting the lead was going to be tough to run down here.
Yeah, still off the layoff of May 31st was maybe a dead given that the horse, this is going to be a little bit short. And again, the question mark coming in was the 2 Chad Brown runners working out at Monmouth Park, and they both did not show up.
There is Kieran McLaughlin into the winner's circle with Ascot Walk, the daughter of DeHare, for Shadwell Stable. And a price to start off our late pick 4 sequence here. Impressive run here, second time out for Ascot Walk. Hard to believe it's still opening weekend. All that has transpired already in these first couple of days. This monster showdown still to come in the Coaching Club American Oaks. We've had a lot of great moments, though, already just through the first 2 days. 2-year-old fillies in the Schuylerville. Impressive performance in the Lake George. And, of course, a photo in the Grade 1 Diana. It has been a memorable meet already.
Lyrical Lady off the turn in front, but it is Lyrical Lady and Ricardo Santana Jr. by the 8th pole with a 4-length lead. Lyrical Lady. Lyrical Lady strong under the wire. They're into the stretch. Catherine the Great, the leader. Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great's gonna go all the way. Catherine the Great and Jose Ortiz in the 100th Schuylerville. Daddy is a Legend is 4.5 lengths from the front. Daddy is a Legend swings to the inside, and Daddy is a Legend and Manny Franco get through on the inside, and now they're in front. Daddy is a Legend wins the Lake George. They're off. Nitrous right out to the front. Nitrous just keeps on going. Nitrous and Ricardo Santana Jr. gonna take them all the way to win it by 3 to put the glass down. Sambaye comes on the attack on the outside. Sambaye, and here comes Sambaye on the outside to score in the Sanford. To the favorite Sister Charlie, who is second last. Sister Charlie swings up on the far outside. Close to home from Sister Charlie. They're coming down to the line. Oh! Sister Charlie to the Diana.
You know, my mentor, Bobby Frank, there's like a handful of races that I just always remember him talking about and really pointing for, and this was definitely one of them. And I think about him every time I participate in this race. And
well, we have had some sensational performances so far, and again, we're only 2 days into this meet. It has been incredible. Sister Charlie was sensational. Graham Motion, how about this? That was not only Chad Brown's 4th win in the Grade 1 Diana, that was the 5th second place finish in this race for Graham Motion. Not sure which is harder to do. 15-1 shot for Graham Motion, just missing by a whisker in that Grade 1 event. And this was a tweet from Graham that Diana is a tough race to win. Got a feel for him.
Yeah, and a great subtweet over it saying, ugh. But Graham's been a little bit unlucky when it comes to that. But again, his filly ran great yesterday.
Early on, let's take a look at the trainer standings. Chad Brown on top. Todd Pletcher, of course, won the training title last year. Weather aided because Chad Brown had to keep a few of his stars in the barn late in the meet.
Yeah, Aspen with 2 of his 2-year-olds, and then Chad Brown, 4 turf winners already.
And even Todd Pletcher felt last year as well and this year that probably Chad Brown's the favorite.
Yes.
We'll see how it plays out, however. Both those barns absolutely loaded and off to hot starts. Ascot Walk, $19 winner to start off the late pick 4.
Congratulations to the daughter of DeHare, the Ufawin mare, Millennia, Shadwell, Colors, and Joey Bravo, who had a winner yesterday as well. And that's going to spice up your Naira late pick 5. This horse was tough to get to. Great pick by Tom. Jason Service, he just doesn't lose races. Wins the first part of this that you guys just missed. And then Ascot Walk, I thought was giant to run down a Billy Mott horse that had some bottom.
Yeah, we'll play big, no doubt, in the sequence on a day in which our main event still to come. The Grade 1 Coaching Club American Oaks and 2 of the best 3-year-old fillies in the entire country. The Naira Bets late pick 5. We say it every single day, but it is the best bet in racing. The payouts have been astonishing, and you got to get involved and be part of it. Going to take a break in the action. We will be back. Coming up next, we'll be on the turf in an entry-level allowance race, and still ahead, Claiborne filly Jaunt. When we come back, we'll meet an important part of her team. Helps get her ready for race day, the exercise rider. That's next when we come back.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole. But Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. Phoenix has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice. Good Magic's going to win his first race, and he's going to do it as the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
I am Lena Lo.
Back on Saratoga Live, and there is Kentucky Oaks champion Monomoy Girl, undefeated in her 3-year-old campaign. Her rematch with third-place finisher Midnight Bisou still to come in the Coaching Club American Oaks. She delivered trainer Brad Cox the first, second, and third grade ones of his career.
Yeah, she's been nothing but spectacular. Her 7th for a lifetime, 1 second-place finish, almost $1.5 million in the bank, and she can do it from many different ways. She has a lot of speed, and she's very tactical, and she doesn't really mind where she needs to sit in the race, so she's the one to beat, and she is the class of the 3-year-old fillies.
Yeah, she actually, one of her most impressive performances, maybe the Rachel Alexander. She hit the gate, wound up dead last. She still won that race going away. That's coming up in race 9. Race 8, entry-level allowance. It is 1 mile over the inner turf. And Dancing Breeze, we saw the tough luck tweet from Graham Motion after that beat in the Diana. He's got the horse to beat in this race, the 4-year-old filly, I should say, by new approach, Dancing Breeze.
Yeah, this is a filly that came off the plane and ran first time out and actually lost a remarked. Actually remarked as the 7 in here at 14-1. So, you know, the 5 might come down a little bit in price, but I thought there's some other horses in here. I thought Stainless, the 2, was an outside look here at 6-1.
Also on the board, the 10th filly in here, Claiborne-owned Jaunt, is at 5-1 here in this spot. Before any thoroughbred is ready to race, a lot of important preparations take place in the morning. Let's meet Jaunt's exercise rider in another edition of I Am.
I am Lena L'Oreal. I am an exercise rider. In my first set, I'll get on the horse and we ride around the Shedrow until Shug gives us our instructions. We'll go to the track. And then you gallop between a mile to a mile and a half, depending on the horse's schedule. Sometimes, too, you just walk, and you walk tack in the Shedrow. Then we stay on him for 40 minutes, just walking around the Shedrow. Otherwise, you can jog, just jog the wrong way, usually. And then when we do workouts, then we have a different routine. So it depends on where the horse is on its racing schedule. And when we come back, we do the same thing. We'll give him a couple of turns in the Shedrow. And then when I take the tack off, I take my tack to the next horse. The groom is ready, and I'll put the tack on and bring the horse out, and then I'll get right on it. The most talented horses I've ridden, I would say, is Personal Ensign, that retired undefeated, and Lure. He's also, and they're both in the Hall of Fame. Lure was a lot of fun because he loved his job, he knew he was good, and he was just very, very fast. It's very exciting. It's never boring. It's always something going on. Every set is different, every horse is different. So I think I like that it's never the monotony of having just a job. Because I'm a mother too, so I have to take care of that part. It's not really a job, it's a lifestyle. We work 7 days a week, so we all get up early and we work. And we are a real racetrack family. My husband is an assistant trainer for Christophe Clement. My daughter is working as a media representative for J.J. Toner Stables, and she does his Facebook page. And it's sort of funny that we compete against each other. It's just more horses to cheer for. I think if my parents thought I was going to stay with it, they would not have let me do it. They thought I was going to do it for a couple of years, outgrow it, and then get a real job. But I'm still here, and I still love it.
Now, Lena L'Oreal, been a long-time member, important part of Shug McGaughey's barn as you get a look at Jaunt, 4-year-old filly by the late Harlan's Holiday out of an unbridled mare. She mentioned Lure in that piece, of course, one of the many greats in a long line of stars for Shug McGaughey's barn, back-to-back winner of the Breeders' Cup Mile back in 1992-93. Actually started his career on the Triple Crown Trail on dirt, but then became a star when shift to the turf. Here's the star coming up on today's program in the rematch. Can Monomoy Girl get the best of Midnight Bisou one more time? She's reeled off 4 consecutive victories, 3 consecutive Grade 1 wins. Can she make it 4 in the Coaching Club American Oaks ahead?
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a lead for the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
Dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Ruffian has the lead by a length and a half, and Equal Change is now second. Let Me Linger drops back.
Here with jockey Florent Giroux, who's got a big day on tap, of course, in the Coaching Club American Oaks later on.
The lead, I would say.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it later. Best of luck.
Thank you. Very close to the lead, I would say.
All right, well, we're
Ruffian has the lead by a length and a half, and Equal Change is now second. Let Me Linger drops back. Gallant Trial swings to the outside, and down the stretch they come, with Ruffian in front now by 2.5 lengths. Equal Change is second by the same margin, and Gallant Trial races third. As they come to the final 16th, it's Ruffian in front by 2. Equal Change is second. It's Ruffian in front.
Well, the incredible Ruffian, that was when the Coaching Club American Oaks was 1.5 miles. She equaled a stakes record in that race, completed the Triple Crown for Philly. She won the Acorn, the Mother Goose, and, of course, the Coaching Club American Oaks. Paid $210 across the board that day.
So about 1-9, you think? Pretty good. She was pretty good, you think?
She was a superstar, one of the greats of all time. Monomoy Girl, her reputation continuing to rise with each and every victory. 3 consecutive Grade 1 wins, trying to add a 4th this afternoon. Ever since the second start of her career, her regular pilot has been Florent Giroux. Gabby Gaudet caught up with him earlier today.
here with jockey Florent Giroux, who's got a big day on tap, of course, in the Coaching Club American Oaks later on Monomoy Girl. And Flo, just talk a little bit about this filly and just her quirks and how maybe you have learned from her and she's learned from you throughout her career thus far.
Well, first of all, you know, she's super talented and she's very special, you know, to us. But, you know, she has a little bit of quirks, you know, like you said, sometimes she has a tendency of looking around, you know, and like she did, you know, quite a few times. And one time she got beat pretty much because of that in the Golden Road last year. And, you know, I started using my whip and she started going left, right, you know, every kind of direction. And at the end, you know, I probably got beat because of that. But now I don't think she likes the stick, so I don't using it, you know, until I really need it at the end. And that's what I learned from her. And I think she's just getting more mature too, you know. I think this year she's been way more, you know, focused, and especially her last 2 races have been very good. And I'm excited, and hopefully today she can put it all together and move forward.
Now, considering the amount of horses that is in the Coaching Club American Oaks later today, it's a smaller field, more compact. How do you envision the race being set up?
I think I have the most speed, you know, that's for sure. To see how, you know, I think we're going to play the break. I don't know what's going to be to the other guys, you know, game plan, but my concern, you know, if my field break good, I'm probably going to be very close to the lead, I would say.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it later. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Florent Giroux, there he is. Can be a tricky filly to ride, but he's seemed to have a magic touch on her so far. Undefeated as a 3-year-old. She has reeled off 4 consecutive wins, 7 for 8 lifetime. Keep talking about the rematch between the 1st and 3rd place finishers from the Kentucky Oaks. Also, the 4th and 5th place finishers from that race are returning as well. The 5th place finisher, of course, Chocolate Martini, trained by our colleague and part of our crew, Tom Amos, as we send it downstairs.
Tell you one thing, Tom, no matter what she does, it's all gravy. This horse is the claim of the year, and she may end up being the claim of the year. She shipped to California for her last race. How has she done since she shipped back
She's actually done better. So she flew out there. It was an easy trip back and forth, and the race was a disappointment. She carried a lot of weight in that race, but she has trained well since then. Look, it's no secret that it's a 2-horse race between Monomoy Girl and Midnight Bijou, but if those horses can get busy with each other and forget about the rest of the field, and we can somehow run in the top 3, she then becomes Grade 1 stakes placed. And as a broodmare, her value off the racetrack, it soars.
No, her third-place finish, I mean, in money won, it's about $30,000 in this race. But for a value as a broodmare, it could easily be a couple $100,000, if not more.
It could indeed.
Yeah, no, so it's been a great claim for her. And you got to take shots in these races. I mean, that's why you're training horses. You've got a horse of this caliber, take a shot. A horse named Runaway Groom beat the winners of all 3 Triple Crown races up in Saratoga. They worried about themselves, and he ended up catching to the end. Maybe Chocolate Martini can do something that's like.
Look, I'm honored to be in this race. This race has such a history. We just watched Ruffian, you know, just to be a part of it. I mean, I'm getting chills right now knowing to go to the paddock to saddle something in the coaching club.
I believe the Coaching Club American Oaks, and I don't know what the qualifications for this are, is considered the only classic for fillies running this country. Whatever that means. We'll see if you can do some damage in there. Good luck, Tom. The 5 horse in this race, on to more important and pressing things.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about
we got
Dancing
a race,
Breeze.
don't we?
I was surprised looking at the double wheel pace, how close horses like the 2, 3, 4, and 5 were in odds in this race, and even some others. But she's Dancing Breeze to me, Tom, looks like a horse that needed its last race. She ran against La Moneda, who's a very impressive winner for her 3rd straight win this year for trainer Tom Morley earlier today. She runs back to that race behind Rimska at Aqueduct. They can't beat her.
No, Rimska, multiple graded stakes winner. I asked you about her earlier. And she gave her all she wanted. I mean, Dancing Breeze in that race looked like the winner all the way around there. Very confidently ridden all the way around there. Got outrun by a very, very nice horse. Look, we're talking about an A other than, not a multiple stakes winner that she ran against that day.
I'm surprised she's not a shorter price near. Now, Guerriere for trainer Chad Brown, a number 3 horse. I don't know what to expect from her because she really didn't run that well first time out. He stretches her out. Maybe she needed more distance. We'll see if she's any good, really.
If you look at her European form, the idea of running her a 1-turn 6 furlong race in the States is a bit of a head-scratcher. She looks like the kind of horse that wants to go further. That race has such a different complexion from the one today. Put a line through it and consider this her first U.S. start.
Well, we'll see what happens. We know Chad Brown's certainly been pointing for Saratoga, like most trainers, with a lot of their horses, as we head out to the paddock to get much more from Maggie.
Thanks, guys. And as always, this paddock report brought to you by Hillendale Farms. As we'll take a look at number 2, that is Stainless coming back off the bench here for trainer Todd Pletcher. Now, physically, she looks fit, but that's very typical of Todd's horses. I mean, I have barely seen any Todd horses over my years here ever look unfit from the physical perspective. The thing, though, that concerns me about her is, while she has good energy, she might be expending just a little too much, and plus she's gotten a little hot here, and that's usually a telltale sign that a horse will need that proverbial race. But I do think a mile on the turf is her game plan. Moving on to number 3, Guerriere for Chad Brown. Came back going 6 furlongs in this country for the first time. She is sharp here once again, where I think she was maybe just a little bit kind of over the top, maybe a little too fresh. She does look tighter this time around, and physically she looks suited to this mile. And we'll take a look at another one second off the bench. That's number 7, Remarked, as Bobby Robato opted to keep her in that race, which was reined off the turf, in which she looked like she needed a race. Just needed that top line to come up and strengthen up overall, as she looks as though she's done that and she's back on her preferred surface. So she's a long shot that I like in here, but I think Dancing Breeze looks even better today than she did last time out here, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you for that. And on cue, Sam the Bugler with the call to post. Post parade coming up here for the 8th race here. Mile on the inner turf in this first allowance condition. And we're going to see Stainless first, the 3-year-old debut for trainer Todd Pletcher. She was second to Rushing Fall in the Jessamine at Keeneland on the turf back in October of last year.
Yeah, there was a lot of give in that ground that day, and I'm wondering if she's going to get any of that today. We did get a little bit of rain, but we didn't get a ton of rain, so 5-1. But I do like her progression. I think she is getting better, the daughter by Ada Flatter.
John Velasquez will hop aboard this afternoon. He's been on board each of the last 2 starts as well. Guerriere, trained by Chad Brown, Javier Castellano aboard.
Yeah, she's going to make a significant switch in race distance after a disappointing race as a favorite. I like her at this distance a lot better than what she debuted at in the United States.
Turf debut for Queen Mum, trained by Mark Cassie and Julian Leperoux aboard.
Yeah, Painter the sire, 3 for 38 with his first time turfers. So this horse is getting bet, though, from the Cassie barn.
Dancing Breeze, the 5. She was 3rd behind La Moneda, as Andy told us. She won earlier impressively today.
Yeah, she's had 1 race back off the layoff, and this is a barn. that just flat out wins, and wins often.
Rad Ortiz Jr. will be in the irons. The sixth Lion in weight, won 2 in a row and then just missed by a nose last time out.
Yeah, very consistent and very sharp form. 9 out of 13 lifetime.
Remarked is the 7, second off the layoff for Bobby Robato.
Yeah, she's going back to her favorite surface after kind of what would possibly be a get-ready race off the layoff.
She beat Dancing Breeze before and did so on the turf, and she's a big price. The 9, Transaction Tax, should be the one setting the pace.
Yeah, the 8 is Scratch. Transaction Tax, fast and talented, you know, but she's going to try to make a transition from 1 turn to 2 turns. She's only done it once, the 2-turn race, and she won it here. And the Claiborne filly, Jaunt for Shug McGahee.
Yeah, she's a filly that's maybe been a little bit disappointing. They put blinkers on her, and she finally got the job done at Tampa. Always rooting for the Claiborne charge, but I think she's going to have to improve here.
Brad Cox, of course, has the superstar filly later today in the Coaching Club American Oaks in Monomoy Girl. He also has Lion in Weight, the 6th filly in this spot. Let's go to Gabby Gaudette.
That he does, Greg. Thank you very much. And Brad, talk a little bit about Lion in Weight and the reason behind skipping a condition last time out. She was facing 2 other than company, now a other than.
Yeah, we knew it was coming up a short field. The timing of the race was right. She was doing extremely well, so we took a shot. It nearly worked out. Obviously, she would have still been eligible for the same condition, so we backed up today. I don't think it's any easier today than it was last time. This is a pretty good race, but she's training well. Hopefully, she'll take to this this turf course. She really loves Belmont. All 4 of her wins have come over the Belmont turf course, so hopefully she'll take to this and she can get the job done.
Sometimes a tougher race, even dropping in class, the nature of Saratoga, unfortunately. But, of course, coming up soon, the Coaching Club American Oaks with Monomoy Girl. We talked a little bit yesterday about going into the race, but what are the confidence levels like with the camp going into today's race?
Very confident. She looks great. She's doing as well as she's done all year, so we expect her effort should put her right there.
And talk a little bit about Florent Giroux and his relationship with the filly, because as we've seen before in her past performances, that she can be sometimes a difficult horse to ride.
Yeah, she's a little tricky. He's obviously knows her. He's ridden her, I think, 7 out of her 8 lifetime starts. So, he gets along with her well. I think, if she gets a good trip today, like I said, she should be tough. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be, pretty much on the lead. We'll obviously play the break, see what happens, but she's training really forward. She was very fresh, happy this morning, so I think she'll be up close.
All right, well, thank you for staying here and joining us here this afternoon. Best of luck.
Thanks, Gabby.
Greg?
The Kentucky Oaks champ should be dictating pace in the Coaching Club American Oaks. But Midnight Bisou, Mike Smith, he made an early move in the Grade 2 Mother Goose. He's going to keep close company with that one early. Midnight Bisou looking forward to the rematch here after that troubled start in the Kentucky Oaks with a clean trip. Could that be the difference? That's still to come.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including 2017 Eclipse champion 3-year-old West Coast. A dominant winner of the Grade 1 Travers and Pennsylvania Derby, West Coast also placed in the Breeders' Cup Classic and was runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. In the sales ring, juveniles by Flatter brought up to $600,000, and his yearlings sold up to $460,000. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Welcome to Saratoga Live and the Coaching Club American Oaks, the rematch between third-place finisher Midnight Bisou, who came back to romp in the Grade 2 Mother Goose. Clearly, she has improved since her last meeting with Kentucky Oaks winner Monomoy Girl. Those two, the first and third place finishers in the Oaks, go head-to-head once again in our main event today on Saratoga Live. It's presented by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Welcome to those watching on Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. Greg Wolf alongside former LA Dodger, New York Met, Paula Duca. Midnight Bisou, that Mother Goose performance showed that she has taken a step forward, certainly, since she last met Monomoy Girl. They've been waiting her connections for this rematch. They get it today.
She's a little bit more lightly raced than Monomoy Girl as well. Now, in the first Friday in May, she got the best of her, and Midnight Bisou had a little bit of trouble. Now with a smaller pack, maybe she could stay within at least striking distance of the champ.
That is coming up, Grade 1. That is in race 9 right now, though it's the 8th race. We are on the turf here. Let's send it downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Yes, Greg, out here on the turf course right behind the gates for this mile start on the inner. Now, we did experience some rain earlier this morning in which the turf course was still labeled firm, and I believe it. I mean, I'm out here, and there's hardly any divots whatsoever on this turf course. So it's still in pristine condition. And I have to say, I believe it is firm. It's a true firm. It's not as if it's that kind of really hard course that we've seen in the past. So I think it's a very fair course here overall, as sometimes we do see speed being very dangerous when these courses are extremely firm. But this is just really nice ground to run turf horses on, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. And right now it's Dancing Breeze, the 5, still favored for trainer Graham Motion as we send it downstairs to Andy Serling and trainer Tom Amos.
The two stainless for Todd Pletcher, not taking much money, and I'm not a huge fan of her chances. Her first turf race, though, in the soft going at Keeneland was a second behind Rushing Fall, but maybe somebody had to be second that day.
I remember it well, and it was a very soft turf course that day. Some horses handled it, some horses didn't. The thing that I'm concerned about with stainless is she better one turn as opposed to two?
Well, we'll see what happens here. Todd Pletcher's in the turf. It's rare to see him do that because he has some dirt form that's not horrible, but she's obviously a much better turf horse. Let's mention Brad Cox's horse, Line and Weight. I have never learned my lesson. I still don't like the horse of his that won the last race yesterday, but Brad Cox does win with some improbable horses at times. This one seems like she's moving way up in class.
Moving way up in class, shows speed, but is going to go 2 turns and try to show speed. A lot of horses, when they have to slow down twice, meaning go to 2 turns, they have trouble keeping that speed going, and that's what concerns me with Line and Weight.
Well, Larry Colmus is lying in wait as well. He's upstairs, and he'll call today's 8th from Saratoga.
And here's Transaction Tax moving into the starting gate, followed by Dancing Breeze, who is the 2-to-1 current favorite, and just one left to load. That's Jaunt, who will come up to the outside stall and complete the line. Jaunt moving in. They're all in line. They're off. And it's Queen Mum and Stainless out together. On the outside is Lion and Weight, and there goes Transaction Tax on the far outside, who's going to go up and grab the lead. Transaction Tax sent to the front as they head toward that first turn. Queen Mum is second. Lion and Weight floated out there wide. Stainless cuts the corner in 4th. After that comes Remarked on the outside of Dancing Breeze, who's splitting rivals early on. 6 from the front and just clear of Guerriere. And the trailer is Jaunt as they head to the backstretch. The pace is fast here. 23.51 the opening quarter mile, set by Transaction Tax, who leads at a length and a half. Queen Mum is second. Then it's Lion and Weight third on the outside by 4. Remarked and Stainless are together with Dancing Breeze right behind them and 7 lengths from the front. Guerriere is next, and then it's Jaunt at the rear of the field. 46.53 was the half mile as Transaction Tax and Junior Alvarado lead them into the turn. A length and a half on Queen Mum in second. Lion and Weight comes under pressure in third. Remarked is 4th, 6 lengths off the lead. Dancing Breeze and Erod Ortiz Jr. still about 7 lengths behind as they round the far turn. They're going to try to come through an opening on the inside, and there's some room there. They're into the stretch. Transaction Tax in front by 2. Queen Mum is second. Dancing Breeze dives through on the inside. On the outside is Guerriere closing in late, and here comes Guerriere now. Guerriere runs by by Transaction Tax in the final 16th. Jaunt has come on the scene late and closes up for second as Guerriere will do it. Jaunt got second under the wire. Transaction Tax was third, and Remarked was fourth in 1:34.66.
Transaction Tax trying to go gate to wire, and Guerriere rolled by her like she was standing still.
Really quick pace up front, honest pace to say the least, set up well for Guerriere that makes that transition from a one-turn sprint in the States to a two-turn race, which is more to her liking. She just took over down the stretch.
These connections won yesterday's Diana, Peter Brandt, and Chad Brown. Another win here. And as you said, Tom, before the race, obviously more distance helped her out a lot. Give a little love to Jaunt as well, the Claiborne runner who finished second there. She ran just fine to run second there, and arguably one of the best races she's run in this country.
Yeah,
Lately.
Yeah, you make a good point, Andy. She really did run well. But the three, Chad Brown, this guy is the master. This horse was basically a miler, 7 furlong type horse over in Europe. That means they usually can get a two-turn race here, but it does not matter. They just roll from dead last. And this horse was going to play a little bit bigger than that 7-2 as Javier Castellano, this little hand right here at the end.
Leading trainer at the meets, trying to reclaim that title after Todd Pletcher stole it away from him last year. Off to a hot start yet again. Guerriere gets the job done 7-2 here in the second start here in the States after running over in France. You get 7-2 on Guerriere for trainer Chad Brown here in the 8th race. Our feature still to come. That is a Coaching Club American Oaks and the two best 3-year-old fillies in the country. The rematch from the Kentucky Oaks. Midnight Bisou and Monomoy Girl going head-to-head.
Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Ranchers out of there that take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include multiple graded stakes performer Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, and stakes winners He Hate Me of Sunset Ridge. In the ring, his yearlings have commanded prizes up to $220,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Success starts at Saratoga. The Saratoga Selected Yearling Sale has established a reputation for high quality and high performance. Recent graduates include Grade 1 winners Avenge, Bolt d'Oro, and Moonshine Memories, and 2017 Breeders' Cup champions Battle of Midway, Stormy Liberal, and Rushing Fall. The nation's #1 sale by percentage of Grade 1 winners. The Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sale, August 6th and 7th.
We found Breeders' Cup champion Rushing Fall at Saratoga. Where will you be?
Back on Saratoga Live, the two heavyweight 3-year-old fillies ready to do battle in the Coaching Club American Oaks. There is the two Midnight Bisou leading the way. Looking forward to the rematch after being third to Monomoy Girl in the Kentucky Oaks. The 4 filly trying to win a 4th consecutive Grade 1.
Yeah, and then right in between them is Eskimo Kisses, who was 4th in the Kentucky Oaks behind Monomoy Girl. So you're looking at 3 pretty darn good fillies right there.
Meanwhile, in the 8th at Saratoga, it was Guerriere standing by with Javier Castellano. Let's go to Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. Well, Javier, talk a little bit about this trip, because it looked like a pretty good pace in front of you to close into today.
It was, Gabby. The way she set up, it was perfect race for the horse. I think it went pretty quick early and able to cover up a little bit, save all the ground, try to ride European horse style, because that's where she comes from. I like the way he did it. Very professional, very set up behind the horses, and I like the way she finished. Very, really well.
It looked like the added distance definitely helped her today, stretching out to a mile. But coming up next, Eskimo Kisses. What do you do in terms of strategy with a small field and the fact that you're on a horse that has no other running style but closing?
Absolutely. Nothing you can do in this case. I think you have to be hopeful. Hopefully they go pretty quick early in the first part of the race. They go quick and try to be ride a lot of patience and try to nail in the last part of the race. I think it's going to be a little bit when you open the gate, you have to put the horse with good position and don't overdo it to try to find the best last kick for the horse.
All right, well, we'll let you go. Get ready for the next one. Best of luck and congrats on this one.
Thanks a lot, Gabby.
All right, back to you, Greg.
Gabby, thanks. You know, connections of Midnight Bisou say they had all this trouble, which they did in the Kentucky Oaks, but I would make the argument Eskimo Kisses had even more trouble in that race.
You could argue definitely that Eskimo Kisses did. I mean, it ran a gallant 4th, and this Midnight Bisou ran a gallant 3rd. If you look at the prices, $9.90. You get all that breakage on this 4-year-old filly by Invincible Spirit out of the Galileo mare, Mathematician.
And Chad Brown with another strong import that looks to have a future. And Guerriere getting the win. Second start here in the States. 3.
He's got 5 turf wins already.
It's unreal. The Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along, 211,000 in that pool. We had Ascot Walk with our price to this point. Guerriere, not easy to get to for some.
No, not at all. This is going to play very, very nicely. If you're live, good luck to you. Obviously, if you are rooting to try to beat one of the 2 or the 4 here, you're going to be alive for a lot of money. But still, I think if you get Midnight Bisou home or Monomoy Girl, you're still going to be alive for good payoff.
Here it is. The heavyweight showdown is next. The Grade 1 Coaching Club American Oaks, mile and an 1/8. Purse of $300,000 for 3-year-old fillies, and the Kentucky Oaks champ, Monomoy Girl, 3-5 on the board.
I guess expected. Listen, Midnight Bisou needs to turn the tables. You talked about Mike Smith likes to make that middle move. He might make that middle move today and try to surprise Monomoy Girl.
So division supremacy for 3-year-old fillies on the line in the Coaching Club American Oaks. But as we take a look at what's trending, we might have a new division leader, or at least certainly one who is on the rise like a rocket ship in the older horse division. Catalina Cruiser, the other horse in the John Sadler barn. His nickname was the best horse nobody knows about. Then they changed it to the next big thing after this performance.
Yeah, really tough to gauge. Listen, he's leaving Dr. Dorr in his wake in here, and Dr. Dorr came out here and did not run well. So really hard to tell. He hasn't been tested yet, but obviously there's a ton of talent there for a very, very good trainer in John Sadler, and a very, very good owner in Costa Ronas, who's thrown a lot of money into this game over time.
Those connections, they scratched Accelerate out of the San Diego.
Yeah.
That horse may now point to the Whitney. They didn't want to run Catalina Cruiser against that one, and he steps up, runs a 107 buyer in the 3rd start of his career. It took Accelerate 12 starts in his career to hit a number that big. He has been sensational. Back-to-back starts now with 107 buyers. And also, he's a large animal. It's taken him a little bit longer to kind of develop because of that. 1,250 pounds. Connections believe he is the largest horse in Southern California.
Wow, that's crazy. And he is a 4-year-old colt. That's why he has been lightly raced. And he's got a pedigree. Union Rags had a mine shaft mare to run all day. So we'll see. This is maybe the new handicap horse that's maybe up and coming, but still has to face some of these other polished horses with polished wins.
Meanwhile, our big showdown coming up at the 3-year-old filly division, and this is from chief photographer at the Daily Racing Form, Barbara Livingston. These two lovely fillies, Monomoy Girl there on the left and Midnight Bisou on the right, steaming here this past week. Their clash coming up in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Tremendous work there from Barbara Livingston.
One of the best, if not.
Well, I know this. We got the big showdown coming up between these 2 3-year-old fillies. You said Accelerate the other day, maybe the best horse in the older horse division. That might change now.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty excited to see Accelerate if he comes to the Whitney. That would be a tremendous addition to our Whitney, and I still think he's on top of it. Obviously, John Sadler has a nice situation with an almost embarrassment of riches with these older horses, but we want some horses to add depth to that division, and Accelerate coming for the Whitney would bring a very, very exciting race and bring it up another level, guys.
Certainly, but our focus right now on these 2 superstar 3-year-old fillies. And going to be interesting to see what happens and what Mike Smith will do. Remember last year, the Coaching Club American Oaks early move on Abel Tasman got her involved awfully early. Kind of the move he made with Midnight Bisou and the Mother Goose last start.
Could be deja vu, I'm telling you.
Very intriguing showdown. 2 of the top 3-year-old fillies in the country going at it next.
Eclipse champion Blaine notched over $4.3 million in earnings, including this historic victory over Zenyatta. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. Recent top runners include multiple graded stakes winner Fault and French Classic winner Senga. In the ring, his yearlings have sold up to $350,000. Among the top sires of his crop by lifetime graded stakes horses, his 2018 stud fee offers outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Ranchers out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Monomoy Girl on top as they come toward the top of the stretch. And it is Monomoy Girl taken on by one. Monomoy Girl on top as they come toward the top of the stretch. Monomoy Girl on top as they come toward the top of the stretch. And it is Monomoy Girl taken on by Wonder Gadot. And on the inside, Monomoy Girl, it's down to these 2. And it's going to be Monomoy Girl in the Kentucky Oaks.
I mean, she's just incredible. I mean, she just keep on running.
Monomoy Girl getting ever closer with a 3-wide trip, and she's pulling away in the Acorn. A 4-length lead. Talk Move to me is second. Geo gained third. Monomoy Girl home on top in the Acorn.
Smith now
making his move on Midnight Bisou in the red colours from second last, taking off around the field. Here comes Midnight Bisou, mounting a mighty bit on the outside as she moves up within 2 lengths of the lead. Midnight Bisou with another assertive final furlong. The top filly of the meet deservedly wins the Grade 1 Santa Anita Oaks.
Midnight Bisou pokes her neck in front. Midnight Bisou turns for home on top of the Mother Goose. Midnight Bisou. A very strong performance in the Mother Goose.
She's just getting better, this mare. She's going to get better through the year as well. I'm really looking forward to late summer going into November with her.
Here we go, the rematch of the first and third place finishers from the Kentucky Oaks, taking place on Sunday from Saratoga in the Grade 1 Coaching Club American Oaks. Monomoy Girl, your winner of that race back in the 4th of May. And third place finisher, Midnight Bisou, has come back to just look dominant in the Grade 2 Mother Goose at Belmont. Both these two lining up at Saratoga. New setting for the very first time for each of them. And it's Monomoy Girl, 1-2, the odds-on favorite on the board.
Maybe 1-2 a little bit too low. I mean, I get it that they have to beat her. I thought Midnight Bisou would be a little bit closer. We'll see what happens when they get a little bit closer to the gate, but maybe that gap will close.
Every day of the Saratoga meet, use the NyraBets app to place a $1 base trifecta bet on a selected stakes and earn a 10% winner's bonus. Today's race, the Coaching Club American Oaks. So head and download that NyraBets app, get your bet in, and earn that 10% bonus in your account. Midnight Bisou, Mike Smith, he has had tremendous success in this race, looking for the three-peat, winning with Abel Tasman last year, Songbird the year before that. And, of course, in the Kentucky Oaks, Connections, Andy said, had a rough trip in here.
I actually don't think either of these horses have particularly rough trips, either Midnight Bisou or Eskimo Kisses. But Midnight Bisou probably the worst of it. She was also much wider. Eskimo Kisses, who's the horse inside of Monomoy Girl, watch her ride her. She's in those sort of brown silks, almost second to last to the outside. That ride by Corey Lannery is about as good a ride as you can give. He cuts over, as you see, second to last on the rail, gets right on the rail in the first turn, and he stays inside. He never loses any ground. Obviously, Midnight Bisou was wider during the running of the race, but Eskimo Kisses is able to cut that corner sharply. Yes, she did steady 5/16 of the quarter pole, but you can't look at just one single issue, at least to me, and say that's the whole trip. To me, overall, Eskimo Kisses benefited from an absolutely sensational ride and a very good trip, and was narrowly beaten by Midnight Bisou, who had a much tougher trip. Not a terrible trip, but a tougher trip than Eskimo Kisses got. To me, and I know the price is obviously extreme, Eskimo Kisses' best chance would have been a deluge that thankfully never came, and the ride was what made them close at the wire.
There's a look at trainer Steve Asmus, and I almost don't recognize him with the clean-cut hair. He's known for those long locks. Those are gone.
Yep.
He got this filly, Midnight Bisou, right before the Mother Goose. Used to be in Bill Sparr's barn, and said really didn't have to do that much with her, and she looked sensational in that start with a little seasoning from the new barn. How good could she get?
Well, she could get a lot better. I mean, she looked like she wanted to do more. Now, did she beat that much? Not really, and it was a starting point to her season, and listen, she's going to be a lot sharper. I think at least close enough to the 4. We'll just see if she's good enough or not.
And again, what the pace will shape up like in this race, because we do believe Monomoy Girl should be dictating things early on. So how far back will Midnight Bisou be?
Well, the 5's the only other horse in here with any kind of pace besides the 2, Midnight Bisou. The 4 is the fastest horse in this race and the fastest numbered horse in this race. The 2 is the most talented horse in this race. So I would think Mike Smith's going to try to push out of there, make Monomoy Girl push a little more, go faster, and try to get to the outside of the 4 and then turn it into a 2-horse race.
The original plan for Midnight Bisou was to bypass this race. They wanted to go to the Alabama on August the 18th. That's at 1.25 miles. She was doing so good. She emerged out of that Mother Goose win with such fervor and the demeanor of a horse who wanted to do more. They changed plans and said, no, we're going to tackle the Kentucky Oaks winner again.
Well, I think a lot of things to do with it. You know, I think that they feel as a camp that they may have caught up to Monomoy Girl a little bit. She's a little bit more lightly raced. Maybe she has more bullets in the tank. She's run 7 times, Monomoy Girl. Well, she's only run 8 times. Only 1 race on her. But, you know, these, like you said all the time, Greg, 3-year-old fillies can grow up in a heartbeat.
Did I see Rajiv Mirage's helmet on there? Let's go downstairs to Gabby Gaudet with Mike Smith.
Greg, thank you. Here with Mike Smith. And Mike, the last time that your filly and Monomoy Girl met was in the Kentucky Oaks. How do you see maybe turning the tables on her here today?
Well, we didn't. I'm not going to call it an excuse, but I certainly didn't have the best of trips. You know, I got away. I got knocked down a little bit leaving there. When I finally did get her running, I was forced to go wide, and then I got bumped off the top of the turn, and I only get beat 3 to 4 lengths. You know, so if I can turn the tables at some point, I think I can make up that kind of distance anyway. But we'll see. I mean, coming off her last race was really good. She finished with a lot of energy. She's doing well. We'll see. She's going to be a hard mare to beat, but we're not without a good chance.
Of course, and Monomoy Girl, she looks like she's naturally a bit faster. This is a 5-horse field. How can you kind of strategize going into this? Is it tricky?
It's a little tricky, you know, but what you do is you just play it off the break. You know, I'm not going to take away nothing that comes easy. Let's put it that way.
All right. Good stuff. Best of luck here, Mike. Thank you. All right, Mike Smith going for a record 6 wins in the Coaching Club American Oaks.
He is a master tactician, and if you're riding in a big race, there's nobody more you want. That's why they call him Big Money Mike.
Listen, if you want him to be riding your horse, you want him to be riding a filly, too. I know he just won the Triple Crown on Justify, but we can start naming them out loud, and Zenyatta, and Azeri, and Inside Information, and a lot of other ones. He's rode some of the greatest fillies we've ever seen. So, Midnight Bisou is going to have a challenge today, though, with Monomoy Girl.
Time for a paddock report with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing curling for $150,000.
Thanks, Greg. And down here, I'm going to be saving the best for last, as I will touch on Midnight Bisou and Monomoy Girl when I'm out on the track and see how they're warming up. But ironically, you know, they're actually the 2 smaller fillies in here, and I'll touch on the bigger ones, the kind of giants, if you will, including number 1, Chocolate Martini. Certainly eminent of her sire in Broken Vow. He does throw those big, rangy tights, and she's laid back, cool as a customer here, dappled head to toe, and just looks extremely well conditioned. As Tom Amos, her trainer, said, maybe she will be able to pick up some pieces on the top 2. Moving on to number 3, Eskimo Kisses, and surely one that will be doing her best running late here for Kenny McPeak. She is that deep closing type, so we'll see what kind of pace plays out in front of her, but she comes off of a bit of a break dating back to that Kentucky Oaks, and wow, she looks phenomenal here. I mean, this is the first time I'm laying eyes on her, but she just looks extremely well conditioned. She's a big, powerful looking filly, more of a almost 3-year-old colt than the feminine version, but great presence here in the paddock. She is definitely the long shot outside of the 2 tops in here in this CCA Oaks that I would take a shot with, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you very much. And this is the big battle about to go down, the rematch from the Kentucky Oaks. 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place finishers all lining up in this race. We want to say, again, coming up in just a moment here, Fox Sports San Diego is going to be leaving us, so they could flip over to Fox Sports 2 or watch us on the Fox Sports Go app to see what happens here in our feature race coming up. Andy, 3-5 on Monomoy Girl right now.
Well, Monomoy Girl is not only better than Midnight Bisou based on her races on the racetrack, she also has a tactical edge. So she is supposed to be favored. And essentially a match race, 3 or 4 to 5 versus 6 to 5 on Midnight Bisou makes perfect sense to me. Monomoy Girl has done it consistently, and her speed is her weapon. And Midnight Bisou, to me, is just going to have to prove she's faster. I mean, her speed figure, basically, for her last race, equaled her speed figure for her race in March, and she was impressive, but she was impressive beating horses that really were the caliber of Monomoy Girl. And to me, Monomoy Girl should be a substantial favorite in here based on her accomplishments and performances on the racetrack.
And trainer Brad Cox has said there is nothing to suggest at all that this campaign is taking any kind of toll on her. She's been training extremely well, and she just keeps on firing her best shots.
Yeah, and you make a good point. Like in the Rachel Alexandra, she got left and she won that race. She's learned to be kind and rate a little bit and then turn into a game filly. And Brad didn't seem like he was worrying at all. He seems very confident.
This is a terrific matchup of really good horses. And there's no question that Midnight Bisou has a chance to beat Monomoy Girl. And it'll be nice to see her get a fair trip as opposed to a little bit of trouble. And also, the smaller field, I think, will keep it more bunched and get Midnight Bisou her best chance to run down Monomoy Girl. And we'll see if the others can make a dent. They're not untalented. But these two are both very, very good. I mean, I look at this field. I don't know if you guys are thinking this, but you look at Midnight Bisou and Monomoy Girl, and you think, what if they had been able to run against Songbird? I mean, that's how strong their quality is.
Songbird won this race 2 years ago with Mike Smith aboard, Abel Tasman, Mike Smith aboard last year.
Oh, I forgot about those.
We keep forgetting, though, this racetrack is known as the Graveyard of Champions. If American Pharaoh, a Triple Crown winner, can get beat on this racetrack, anybody can get beat here.
No, that's true. And the betting public is now starting to close this up a little bit from Midnight Bisou to Monomoy Girl, even though you see Flo the jockey with the leg up and sending Monomoy Girl out to the racetrack. I think it's going to end up being maybe 3-5. And you'll get a little bit, maybe 6-5 on the two in here, Andy. What do you think?
Yeah, probably 3 or 4 versus 6. Yeah, I think something about what you said, Paul. And, this track has actually been sort of interesting today. At least early in the day, it looked to me like the rail wasn't the best place to be, and you wanted to be sort of making outside runs. And that could actually work in the favor of Midnight Bisou because she figures to attack on the outside. At the very least, from what we've seen, I think we're looking at a very fair racetrack, and you want nothing more or less than a fair racetrack, especially for a race of this caliber with this quality of group.
You never expect to see issues like this, too, in a small field, but sometimes in small fields, you do encounter traffic problems.
It's more of a rider's race, right? Mike's going to have to push out of there. I would think he's got to get Midnight Bisou involved early, show Midnight Bisou, Monomoy Girl at least, and then get Monomoy Girl to quicken so he can get outside. He's got to try to spread this field out.
Yeah, I think it also depends on what Geo Game does, the 5, because Mike may leave a little, but if Geo Game's going to go, ideally Geo Game sort of stalks a little bit of length or length and a half off, and Mike can sit third, 2 or 3 paths off the inside.
Wow, Midnight Bisou has actually become the 3-5 favorite right now on the board. Here is Chocolate Martini for our colleague Tom Amos, was 5th in the Kentucky Oaks, Fairground Oaks winner from earlier this year.
What a claim for $30,000, and you're right. Won a Grade 2, this filly by Broken Vow, 3 for 9 lifetime.
Mike Smith returns to New York to ride for Steve Asmussen on Midnight Bisou, the 3-5 favorite.
If Midnight Bisou has any chance to win the 3-year-old filly Eclipse, she must beat Monomoy Girl today.
Eskimo Kisses. She was 4th in the Kentucky Oaks, right behind Midnight Bisou, trained by Kenny McPeak. Javier Castellano rides.
She drew the 13-hole in the Kentucky Oaks, and, she had a ground-saving trip, a little trouble late, but she's been working bullets coming into this.
The undisputed leader of the 3-year-old filly division. Here is Monomoy Girl for trainer Brad Cox.
She is the champ, and she's the champ for the reason. She has been sensational throughout her career. They have her to catch, and they have her to beat.
Wonder Godot for Marcassi battled her every step of the way in the Kentucky Oaks. She's not here. Geo Game is for the barn.
Yeah, Geo Game was 3rd in the Acorn. Not too far, 6 lengths behind Monomoy Girl. Outside shot in here, and that's why she's a big long shot at 32-1.
The rematch is coming up, and you can bet the Coaching Club American Oaks in all the Saratoga races this summer with a Naira Bets account. Use the promo code Saratoga Live to earn a $200 new member sign-up bonus, and all members can earn up to a $100 Travers Bet with a bankroll builder every weekend leading up to Travers Weekend. Visit NairaBets.com for details. The rematch is ahead, approaching the 6-minute mark to post with the Kentucky Oaks winner, Monomoy Girl and Midnight Bisou next.
Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in 5th. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
Back on Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. It is time for the main event. The Grade 1 Coaching Club, American Oaks, and two of the top 3-year-old fillies in the country. Saul Kuman's Matacat Stables, part owner of Monomoy Girl, purchased a minority interest last month, also in Midnight Bisou. He's with Gabby Gaudet right now.
Greg, thank you. And that's right, of course, Saul Kuman, part owner of Monomoy Girl, and as well as her biggest rival today in Midnight Bisou. What are the emotions that are kind of going through you right now to have two of the top fillies both competing against each other in a Grade 1?
I mean, a little nervous, actually. You know, you don't get nervous that often. I mean, as you know, you lose 70% of the time in the sport. You're doing pretty well. And but these are two special horses, and, you know, hopefully one wins today. I'm not sure which one it'll be. You know, Monomoy Girl, obviously, we've owned for longer and bought her as a baby, so she has a little bit more of a sentimental, meaning to us. And then, obviously, Midnight Bisou is a tremendous filly that we got involved with a little bit later. So I'm just hoping that I can take a picture with my kids today, and we'll see what happens.
Well, best of luck, Saul.
Thank you very much.
All right, Greg, back to you.
Gabby, thank you very much. Well, either of these two win for Saul Kuman. He is a winner. Little surprising right now. We've talked about the switch in the odds. I don't think anyone expected Midnight Bisou to be favored at this point. She was as low as 3-5. She's the favorite by a decent margin here.
Yeah, just a tiny bit, Andy, right? I mean, it's going to switch over here in a little bit, I would think.
Yeah, no, I agree, Paul. It will switch over, and this thing happens late. Monomoy Girl will be favored by post time, but I agree. I'm a little surprised. I mean, especially this late. You could have seen some early money affect the odds, but this late, I would have lost a bet if somebody said to me Midnight Bisou will be favored with 3 minutes to go.
Andy, what are your thoughts on what Mike Smith is going to do tactically in this race as well?
I really think, you know, as he said, the break is so key, and it's always key. In a perfect world, assuming they all break cleanly, Mike is going to look to give a little bit of a push to make sure Monomoy Girl has to run a little bit. And in the perfect world for him, the 5 on the horse on the outside, Geo Game, is going to go a little bit as well. And so Mike will be able to sit third and maybe drift a little off the rail and get herself out in the clear behind those horses. And if he could be 2.5 to 3 lengths behind in an honest pace, I would think that his connections would be happy.
Is payback in the cards for Midnight Bisou here in the rematch? With more, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And out here trackside as we'll check in with the big two. We'll start with the favored number 2, Midnight Bisou, here with Mike Smith aboard. We see Mike kicking his feet out of the irons, and she looked great. The thing I love about this filly, and it's always a telltale sign of a nice horse, is they have that look. They just look right at you and right through you, and that's exactly what Midnight Bisou does. Just showing that she's not intimidated, that she is a dominant type of horse. Look, these animals are herd animals, and the lead mare, if you will, is always the one that strives to be first and is bold, and that's exactly what Midnight Bisou is. But she has a real foe, obviously, a Monomoy Girl who is almost undefeated except for a neck loss back as a 2-year-old. And I will say, it is pretty warm out here, and besides Chocolate Martini, Monomoy Girl is the only one that hasn't gotten that hot at all. But then again, Florent Giroux kept the warm-up pretty quiet, only kind of jogged and cantered to the backside, then turned around relatively early and came back here. So he's keeping her nice and calm because she has that natural speed and doesn't want to get her too revved up, I think, before the gates are sprung, and so she has enough left in the tank. Look, Monomoy Girl, I saw her back over the wintertime at Fairgrounds, and this filly has really blossomed under Brad Cox's tutelage. Every time she comes over now, she looks bigger and stronger, and as if she puts on more weight, and I love that with these young fillies. So this is truly a great matchup in this CCA Oaks.
Maggie, thank you very much. We should address this, I guess, with Monomoy Girl. As impressive as she was in post 14, the extreme outside in the Kentucky Oaks. That was her only start at 1 1/8, and she did brush Wonder Godot not once, not twice, 3 times during the stretch of that race.
Yeah, she got the job done, and Wonder Godot obviously winning the Queen's Plate. She franked that for him, and we're both wrong because there's $240,000 to win on Midnight Bisou and about just over 200 on the 4 Monomoy Girl. The 2's going to go off as your favorite.
Monomoy Girl will be favored by post time. That's my prediction.
Here,
Paul, we'll bet double or nothing on that drink that you owe me.
Okay.
Here comes the rematch. Only Triple Crown winner Justify and one other have 3 or more Grade 1 wins in North America this year. The other is Monomoy Girl. Can she win a 4th consecutive Grade 1 win and cement her status as the best 3-year-old filly in the land? To do it, she'll need to beat Midnight Bisou in a Kentucky Oaks rematch. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing Triple Crown, Larry Coleman.
In the Coaching Club American Oaks. And it was a good beginning for Monomoy Girl and Geo Game, and these two will go out to the early lead together. So Geo Game will keep Monomoy Girl early company here with Midnight Bisou sitting behind. Mike Smith's got her 3 lengths off of front-running Monomoy Girl. Chocolate Martini and Eskimo Kisses are together at the rear of the field, and they're 6 lengths off the lead. So they head to the backstretch here. We check out that opening quarter mile. It's 24.12 seconds. A reasonable pace for Monomoy Girl with mild pressure on the outside from Geo Game. And Midnight Bisou is just behind the pace setters here. She's 2.5 lengths behind, traveling comfortably up the backstretch, clear of Chocolate Martini and Eskimo Kisses, who are side by side 5 lengths from the front. Monomoy Girl, a 1/2 length on Geo Game. Midnight Bisou creeps closer now. They went 48.23 for a 1/2 mile. Monomoy Girl kicks away once again. Leads it by 3/4 of a length to Geo Game. Midnight Bisou crept up to them, but is backed off now 1 3/4 lengths from the front. And then comes Chocolate Martini and Eskimo Kisses. Around the far turn, Monomoy Girl by a length. Geo Game is still second. Midnight Bisou still third on the outside and now being nudged on a bit by Mike Smith. Chocolate Martini is down toward the inside and Eskimo Kisses 3/4 win at 112.43. They're coming to the top of the stretch and here we go. Monomoy Girl turning for home in front. Midnight Bisou has taken second and she's got dead aim at her if she's good enough as they come into the final furlong of the Coaching Club American Oaks. Monomoy Girl is in front. Midnight Bisou is all out second on the outside. Chocolate Martini is third. Monomoy Girl's got plenty left in the tank. Oh, what a fabulous filly she is! Monomoy Girl wins it by 3. Midnight Bisou was no match for her today. Chocolate Martini was third. Eskimo Kisses fourth. 150.46 the final time.
No question who the best 3-year-old filly in the land is at this point. It is Monomoy Girl, impressive as could be.
It's all over but the shouting, right? She is the 3-year-old champion, and this was a decisive win. It wasn't a super fast pace, but it was an honest pace. Mike Smith got the trip he wanted with Midnight Bisou. She was second best today behind a horse who has been absolutely sensational for trainer Brad Cox.
Yeah, good call by you, Andy, by the way. I owe you a double. And Monomoy Girl, listen, $100,000 late on this horse. And listen, the driest horse won. Midnight Bisou, I thought Mike Smith did a good job. He did exactly what we thought. He sat behind the 2 speeds. Just the 4 has got too much class. Let's give it up to our colleague, Chocolate Martini, who made a nice little run on the rail and got that Grade 1 stakes place.
Happy for Tom. That was great. That was my biggest root, frankly, in the stretch. I was just hoping that Tom would hold third.
Yeah, we were rooting up here, too.
Did at 43-1. But today about Monomoy Girl, she is now 8 for 9 in her career. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Florent is just telling me really basically how classy Monomoy Girl is. Tell everybody what you just said, Flo.
No, when you finish, her races or breeze in the morning, even if it's a strong workout or hard race, she's just very nice and composed, and she starts working here and nice and relaxed and blowing a little bit, but not very hard. You can feel she has a lot more energy still in the tank,
She's just all class. I mean, look at her. She's not wound up at all by this, and as you said, she's not blowing that hard. You have plenty left in the tank, and you also conserve some energy. Somewhat easy fractions considering her talent level.
Yes, definitely there was, very short field and very lack of speed in the race, and I didn't want to get crap, I thought I had the best horse coming into the race. If they want to go faster than me, they're going to push the gas, going to let everybody go in front of me and, try to dictate the pace. I have the best horse, and I just rode her like she was.
And Flo, last year you had an amazing handicap horse in Gunrunner. This year you have the best 3-year-old filly, if not female horse in the land. How does that feel?
Feels great, when you lose a horse like Gunrunner, in your stable, it's a very big, big hole. And them are just being blessed, and lucky to ride those champions, It's just need to get lucky, and I would like to thank, Brad, his team, and of course all his honor for the opportunity they giving me too.
Buffalo, you certainly fit this filly like a glove. Congratulations once again here with Monomoy Girl and the CCA Oaks.
Thank you.
All right, Greg.
4 consecutive Grade 1 wins for Monomoy Girl. 8 for 9 in her career and cementing her status as a top 3-year-old filly in the land.
Yeah, anytime you win 4 straight Grade 1s, you're in a different kind of a category. Mr. Dub always have a smile on his face.
Here's a funny thing for Brad Cox, right? He's won 4 Grade 1s in his career. They've all been with Monomoy Girl.
Unbelievable. He really has. And he's on with some happy connections. As you see, he's on the phone. And there was no lack of confidence in Brad. Listen, he was telling us this horse is on her toes. She's ready to go. And she was ready to go, Andy.
Yeah, and I also think, you know, if Midnight Bisou had finished like a half length behind, say, we could have all sort of debated, well, Monomoy Girl had everything her own way. The pace wasn't super strong. She was able to control. But the win was so decisive that you can't say it was the pace. It's very clear. And Midnight Bisou is a terrific horse, and in no means would I be knocking her. But she is not as good as this filly, Monomoy Girl.
No, she's not. And then where's this horse sit now with the older fillies now? Can she now vault herself in with those older fillies when we get to Breeders' Cup land, Andy?
That's a great question, Paul. And I'll tell you something. Right now, obviously, she's not as good as Abel Tasman. She's not as good as Unique Bella based on what they're doing on the racetrack. It's a long way to go, and I don't think those horses rate to necessarily improve, whereas Monomoy Girl could really improve from now until then. And the gap isn't so wide that you can't say she has a chance, don't you think?
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement. It's just this horse is getting better and better. And like Flo says, like, she is just a picture of how she's acting up a little bit now. She's saying, listen, I've won enough races. Leave me alone, okay? But I'm with Andy. Like, she's getting better and better, Greg. And you know the 3-year-olds, when they go to the Breeders' Cup, they're dangerous.
Absolutely. Of course, we're going to talk about that, the older division, a late. We're going to see likely in the personal ensign later at this meet. She came back and went off the bench in the Dell Cap for Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott. But this filly right here, sensational, and it just seems like she keeps on winning and nothing takes anything out of the tank. And again, that she did get things her own way on the front end here today, but she's shown even when she didn't break well. That happened at the fairgrounds in the Rachel Alexandra, hit the gate at the start. She was dead last early. She still won going away, so she's proven she can win without things going her own way on the front end.
Yeah, she's proven with adversity. And Andy, she won her first 2 starts on the turf, which is the crazy part about this.
Yeah, I won't knock Brad Cox for putting the best filly in the country on the turf to begin her 2-year-old year. She might have won the Breeders' Cup. Who knows? Maybe we should ask him that in the winner's circle. But this was, you know what's so great about this, and Saratoga especially, you want these divisions and titles to be settled on the racetrack, not one day in the Breeders' Cup, throughout the year. It's a year-long racing, and these horses are settling on the racetrack where divisions should be settled.
How about this, too? This is the 6th different racetrack that Monomoy Girl has won at.
Yeah, it is. And I would think this is sewn up, the title. As you see, a nice and beautiful winner's circle picture with Mr. Dub and Mr. Kuhlman right in the middle of this filly by Tapizar. The Henny Hughes mare, Drummett, Flo the jockey, now 8 for 9 lifetime. And with that win, it's going to go over $1.65 million in earnings.
She is truly incredible. 1-2 in the end. All the late money came in on the Kentucky Oaks winner. She does not disappoint. 8 wins from 9 career starts. A neck away from perfection in her career. Midnight Bisou in the rematch. She was no match for Monomoy Girl. Florent Giroux, Brad Cox, Michael Dub, Monomoy Stables, and the Elkstone Group. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more Saratoga Live next.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warthrop. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 mile at Keeneland, then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. His runners include stakes winner Saratoga, along with a growing list of talented young runners. At public auction, his yearlings have sold up to $200,000. Data Link, standing at Claiborne Park.
They're on. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Brunches out of there that take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
Monomoy girl turning for home in front. Midnight Bijou has taken second, and she's got dead aim at her if she's good enough as they come into the final furlong of the Coaching Club American Oaks. Monomoy girl is in front. Midnight Bijou is all out second on the outside. Chocolate Martini is third. Monomoy girl's got plenty left in the tank. Oh, what a fabulous filly she is! Monomoy girl wins it by 3. Midnight Bijou was no match for her today. Monomoy girl turning for home in front. Midnight Bijou has taken second, and she's got dead aim at her if she's good enough as they come into the final furlong of the Coaching Club American Oaks. Monomoy girl is in front. Midnight Bijou is all out second on the outside. Chocolate Martini is third. Monomoy girl's got plenty left in the tank. Oh, what a fabulous filly she is! Monomoy girl wins it by 3. Midnight Bijou was no match for her today.
Kentucky Oaks winner Monomoy girl. She makes it 4 consecutive Grade 1 wins with her victory in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Let's go to Gabby Gaudet.
Obviously, incredibly excited connections here down in the winner's circle. Brad, talk us through the race and your perspective of it, especially at the top of the stretch when it looked like Midnight Bijou just didn't really have enough.
Yeah, I love how things went going in the first turn. I really wanted to be on the lead. I didn't force Florent's hand and tell him to definitely be there, but I thought that, just by past performances and speed figures and everything, she could be the fastest horse going into the first turn. I thought at the maybe inside the half-mile pole, and that's really when I started maybe getting a little nervous and start sweating a little bit. When I was, obviously watching Mike on Bijou, and it looked like he kind of tried to make a run at her and wasn't getting real close, and then they made another run at her at the top of the lane, and we kind of got away from her a little bit, and she kept going. She's a nice filly, so proud of her, and hopefully we can a couple more races and we can call her an Eclipse champion.
Brad, it's taken you about 14, 15 years in your training career to finally get that Grade 1 that she gave you in the Ashland earlier this year. How special is this filly to you, just all that she has given?
She's number one. I mean, she's a horse that, people train a lifetime and never have an opportunity to have in their barn, and we're very grateful and happy to, appreciative of the owners for giving us the opportunity with her, and she's unbelievable. She's a class act, and she shows up every time for us, every single time.
And the opportunity to be able to win this race, and obviously your sons, your whole family is involved. How does that make you feel?
It's awesome. It's amazing that they're here and able to take this in. These are memories that last a lifetime, is what I always say, and these are definitely something we'll have with us the rest of our life.
Huge congratulations, Brad.
Thanks, Gabby.
Greg.
She is a grade 1 win machine for trainer Brad Cox. 4 grade 1s in his career, all coming from Monomoy Girl. What a moment for these connections to experience it. It's truly a filly of a lifetime.
Yeah, it really, truly is amazing. Her papa won the Breeders' Cup Mile Tapizar at a nice price for Steve Asmussen at Santa Anita, winning that race. And he was a fast type of horse. And, wow, what a filly he has turned out here as a sire in Monomoy Girl. 8 for 9 lifetime, and there's the pick 5 follow along. And even with Monomoy Girl, the payoffs are very nice.
They are phenomenal coming up. We'll try and at least verbalize them when we take a look. Ascot Walk, the big number in the sequence. Everything else there, Jason Service started it off. He's been as hot as anybody in the country. Gary Air for Chad Brown, the leading trainer at the meet.
Well, speaking of Chad Brown's under the 9 in the last. The least you can do in the pick 5 if you are live, a little bit under $900.
Now let's send it downstairs to Andy and Tom. Monomoy Girl, absolutely sensational. Congratulations to Tom Amos hitting the board here.
Yes.
With Chocolate Martini.
Oh, thank you very much, you guys. Look, she's a working man's horse. I mean, she broke her maiden for $15,000 claim at the fairgrounds, a month and a half, 2 months before we claimed her. And to be in a field like this and run against those kind of champions, it was a real honor, and I'm so proud of her. It was Rocky Balboa going to the distance with Apollo Creed, in my mind.
And, Tom, it's not as though she was just a totally lucky third. Obviously, she wasn't being the top horses, but she also didn't get beaten 15 lengths. She ran pretty well.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, I'm ecstatic right now. I'm having fun this last half an hour.
Well, good, because I plan to make you miserable in the last half hour if I can. I hate to see a guy happy for too long, right, Greg?
Well, I just want to know, please tell me you had a zillion-dollar trifecta 24241.
What was the question? My earpiece came out. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Please tell me you had a zillion-dollar trifecta with your 1 and third.
He went one way.
Like a true friend of mine would say.
He went one way, 241.
Yeah. I strictly was watching.
Find out the real story later. We still have another race to come. We're not done here. We have the finale to come here. Final race of the opening weekend of the meet. Everyone watching, too, don't forget, we're back on Monday. We run 6 days a week here at the Saratoga meet, so we're back tomorrow again at 4 Eastern. You want to tune in tomorrow from 4 to 6, but we still have one more to come here before we say goodbye to the weekend action. Mile on the inner turf, maiden special weight coming up. Wide open race, and whoa, Taparoo faced a real good one in her debut on the turf back as a 2-year-old. She's opened up as the favorite.
As Chubbs once told Happy Gilmore, just tap it in. And if you get Taparoo in, you're going to get $34,000 in the pick 6. And this is a horse that is very, very interesting. A filly by Tappet out of a Cozine mare. Has not gone long, but enters the James Toner barn for the first time.
Our show brought to you each and every day in parts by champion sprinter Run Happy. Was undefeated in his career as a sprinter. A perfect 7 for 7 sprinting during his days, including a win right here at Saratoga and a Breeders' Cup Sprint Championship at Keeneland, which he set a track record in the process. Time for Jock Talk right now. We're going to learn a little bit more about young, upcoming rider Dylan Davis in this episode.
My father, actually, and that's my best jockey, yeah. What my dad taught me is always work hard and it will come. Almost everything, but I did grow up, I did work with Wesley Ward and a couple other jockeys in Kentucky, but mostly my father, everything. I had a family nickname, Bobo. One of my dad's favorite horses when he moved to California, the trainers that he was riding for, the barn nickname was Bobo. So he just adapted that to me. But there's a bunch of them, Double D, Dilly Dilly, a bunch of little nicks. The favorite part of Saratoga for me is the friends, because I grew up there and I graduated in Saratoga High School, so I got to meet up with a lot of friends up there. Twitter. Twitter, yeah. I feel like it's a lot easier. Facebook, it got too much for me, so Twitter is more where I feel like a lot more of the horse racing business is into. Now it's my family. I mean, I didn't know what life was without them, so it's a pretty good feeling. My son, he's about 10 months old, and I spend a lot of time with him when I'm off of work. I got 3 dogs, 3 Jack Russells, Cooper, Callie, and Zoe. And I do play some Xbox also, Fortnite from Xbox, yeah. But between that and horse racing, not too much more.
Paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Saratoga Live, the 27th annual Saratoga Hat Contest. And we had some doozies out there. Not that one. What was that? Christmas at Saratoga. It's Christmas for horse players.
Yes.
I'm sure that one did well.
I love when the contestants say, not days, hours. They tell you how many hours it took them to make it. So one lady who won 142 hours to make it. I don't want to calculate how many days.
And that last hat that we saw, perfect for right now because we have a few raindrops coming down.
That
She
is
had
true.
an umbrella incorporated into that hat. Sun shining, blue skies. It's beautiful out, but a few raindrops coming down.
Yeah, I feel like we're in the midst of Florida here a little bit. But, yeah, it is. It's really weird. Little raindrops coming out with the sunshine, and I'm looking for the rainbow here pretty soon. There it is right there. 124 hours. Can we get that up here? Because I feel that Greg needs it to walk off the set after the show's over.
Is that flower real?
if it is, it's growing right now.
That was the winner?
I think so.
Okay. Still have one to come. We're going to get to race 10 here in a moment. We'll have a paddock report shortly. We're going to look back, though, earlier on in the card. We say it all the time. One of the great things about Saratoga, 2-year-olds, and we see some new stars start to emerge at this meet. Back in race 2, we had some 2-year-old fillies on the turf going 1 mile and a 16th. And Chocolate Kisses, trainer Mark Cassie has already had a win in the Schuylerville. And now he's get Chocolate Kisses into the winner's circle for Debbie Oxley.
Yeah, this is the filly by Candy Ride out of Brownie Points, the mare in this dam. Is a good mare. I mean, she won 542 on the racetrack, and Chocolate Kisses got the job done. I thought got the job done in really nice fashion. Aunt Ashley, good race for a first-time starter to the 6.
They have a very bright future in front of her. Rad Ortiz Jr., multiple wins on the afternoon. Likely going to be a battle with him and his brother Jose for the meet's leading rider. Chocolate Kisses, impressive in just her second start, guys, and their first start on the turf as they stretched her out today.
I thought that Chocolate Kisses ran well in there. I actually thought, and Paul sort of alluded to it, that Ann Ashley, of course, who finished second, ran very well to be second. She was 3 to 4, 5 wide the entire way around the racetrack. That was an excellent performance.
I came down to the paddock for that race. Chocolate Kisses is a spectacular-looking horse. Big future there.
No, it was nice performance on both of them. It's nice to see these turf runners, as you guys pointed out. And, of course, we run the turf stakes towards the end of the meet, which basically end up being preps for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf races.
Turf for 3-year-old fillies coming up here in our final race.
Yeah, by the way, there was another horse on the card in the 5th race called Wooderson, who won nicely. I wanted to get the comments from the guys down below. Half-brother to a pretty good horse called Rachel Alexandra. We'll get to the guys a little bit later, but that horse won race number 5 earlier today.
Yeah, we'll get a comment from them in a moment. Right now, time for a paddock report with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Yeah, it seems as though the progeny of Rachel Alexandra, the halves to Rachel Alexandra, they like it up here at the spa. Paulie, as Wooderson was pretty good going the 1 mile and an 1/8 at a bit of a price for the one and only Todd Pletchers. We'll take a look at some horses in this finale that, well, have questions to answer, whether they're stretching out or trying the turf for the first time. I'll try to answer them. We'll look at number 1, Coffin here, who I've been waiting since her debut to go long on the turf. Finally get my wish here. She's just built to go longer, in my opinion, and maybe with that inside position, her speed can, or hopeful speed, I should say, can be useful here overall, and looks extremely fit now, 3rd off the bench. Number 4 is Tap Tap Taparoo, who is coming back off of a layoff and making her first start here for trainer Jimmy Toner. I must say that she has really relaxed. She was really wound up going back to her last race and kind of blew her race before even going into the gate. Plus, that was on a sloppy track as well. Back to her preferred surface, getting a little more distance to run over, and I'm fine with that as she does come back in here looking really fit and well-conditioned for one of the best turf trainers that we have in the land, and Jimmy Toner. On the outside is Rusty Arnold's number 10, East Moon, a daughter of Speightstown. You know, on the dam side, it's a good family, but they've been much more proficient going longer on the dirt, not necessarily the turf, but looking at her, I wouldn't be surprised if she takes to it. She does have that proverbial turf hoof to her, and she's a big, kind of strapping-looking filly here. So an interesting surface change. Maybe they're just grasping at straws and doing a little experiment, but I can't blame them for doing so by what I see in the paddock, Greg.
Thanks a lot, Maggie. And there's an interesting horse in here we hit on before. It's the second choice right now, and that's Tap Tap Taparoo. Now, she's going to have to run off a layoff, hasn't run since November, and show she can be proficient going a mile around 2 turns. But her debut was an extremely visually impressive effort behind a good horse who won stakes.
It was. I mean, a race where she was hopelessly beat at the head of the lane, made a furious run down the stretch, was lugging in just because she's green. So a lot of things that, again, that first race to second race kind of education makes such a big difference in.
No, I agree. She broke a little bit slowly. She was 4 or 5 wide. And no disrespect to Rui Rodriguez, who's terrific. Going to Jimmy Toner is never a bad switch.
Especially on the turf.
But yeah, absolutely. But competition of ideas, the 9, she's the right favorite here. I don't have a knock on her. Emmy Performance, who beat her, is a talented runner with a huge pedigree.
I'm going to push back on that. So competition of ideas, I like this horse one turn, not two. And her pedigree says one turn, not two. So I think competition of ideas, the 9-horse, has a little bit to overcome in this race to show that he can get the distance.
Well, it'll be interesting because to overcome that 9-post and do that won't be that easy. I thought the horse inside of her, that Spiteful, might be a little bit interesting trying the turf for the first time, even though it's really sort of a dirt family and that Dream Supreme was second dam and won our test and our ballerina as a 3-year-old. She's been a producer of turf horses, so there is a pedigree to suggest that Spiteful will improve on the grass.
Yeah, and I'm not going to contradict myself because she's by the same sire as the 9 competition of ideas, but Spitestowns can do it all. Short, long, turf, dirt.
We'll see what happens. Very interesting race coming up.
And we're set. Post parade coming up here, and the rain has stopped.
Yes, it has.
Came down for about 2 to 3 minutes, and now we're good to go. We're going to start off with Quaff, Bobby Robato, 2 sprints since the return to racing this year as a 3-year-old, now stretching out.
Yeah, Greg, she's stretching out to 2 turns after really 2 good races at this level.
Compression, 1 of 2 in the race for trainer Chad Brown. Irad Ortiz Jr. looking for a 3rd win today.
Yeah, she had a tough post first time out. Then last time she ran a little bit better. Look for her to improve again at 5-1.
Astaku Trail for Shug McGahee, 10th time out looking to break her maiden.
10th time out, but she's been close in her last 2 on this kind of course and on this surface.
And been outworking Jaunt, who we saw earlier in the card, by the way, as well. Tap, tap, taparoo for Jimmy Toner, her comeback race.
Yeah, her comeback race after a good effort first time out, and then someone a miss, and now changes barns to the Jimmy Toner barn.
Kyoto is the 5 Kieran McLaughlin runner, 2 sprints and stretching out for this one as well.
I think she's one of a bunch of horses in this race that's going to be fast early and is going to try to keep it going, but a lot of pace here.
Big long shot here in the 6. No deal for Phil Serpy, and Dylan Davis rides.
This horse has gone long 1 time on the turf. It actually happened to be her best effort, so I don't know if that warrants 30-1, but this feels a lot tougher.
First-time starter Stemper Sentencia-E.
Yeah, this is the only first-time starter in the field. And with those, you always look to the board to see what's happening. No one's very interested.
That's Spiteful turf debut and start number 2 for Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott.
Yeah, you wonder why this horse is getting played running 5th in a 6-horse field, but you get Jose Ortiz aboard.
Competition of ideas, the other Chad Brown runner who finished ahead of his other runner in that last start.
Well, Andy and I talked about her family, and their specialty is 1 turn in dirt, so she's going to have to overcome that as she goes 2 turns on the grass today.
An intriguing runner outside here. First time on the turf, East Moon. Jose Lascano for Rusty Arnold.
Yeah, Rusty Arnold doesn't ship a ton here at the Saratoga that much anymore, but Lascano, good turf rider. This horse is going to try turf for the first time and has numbers if she can take her dirt numbers over.
5 minutes away from our finale this weekend, here opening weekend at Saratoga, and it is a wide open race. Get involved. We'll have it for you live when we come back here on Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. We'll be back.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushers out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live. Fans pouring in today to see that monster matchup of the Coaching Club American Oaks and for the hat giveaway. And I was not able to get one of these this afternoon.
Very well done, the hats. They just went very simple, which I love. The Saratoga logo with the black. They always got the greatest giveaway. There you go.
I love it.
They got the great giveaways here every year. Their hats they give away are the best by any racetrack by far.
I got to get one before the end of the day.
I'm sure you can get one. You were
track one down. Yeah. But that happened this afternoon. As if you need extra reasons to come to horse racing heaven.
By the way, if you do come say hi to us first. Don't go say hi to Andy. But download at the track at NYRA, and you can actually order food from around places here, and then you don't have to wait in lines. Pretty cool.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, a 7-horse in here, Semper Sententia E, is the only first-time starter in this field. Let's go to Gabby Gaudet.
Thank you, Greg. And here with her trainer, Rudolph, how can you help us pronounce this filly's name here?
Yeah, her name is Semper Sententia.
Okay, it sounds much better when you say it for sure. But tell us a little bit about this filly and her debut. What are your expectations with her today?
Well, we wish we would have a race in the Midwest with her, but it took a little longer to get her ready. Now we came here. Her opener is from New York, so that's why we bring her here, and we think she fit here. Now she may need one, but we like her.
So this is your first summer being at Saratoga in your own outfit. Obviously, you're a longtime assistant for trainer Bill Mott. How has it been going so far, and how many horses do you have up here?
Well, we have 9 stalls. We got 8 horses right now, and it's been great to be back here. You know, I mean, it's we know the NYRA circuit is the place you want to be. We have in the back of our mind we thinking about maybe having a string here next year. In Belmont and then Saratoga, like from April to November. So I think it's good to sneak in that meet, and we know how tough it is, but at least we are here.
And Rudolph, quickly, in the Coaching Club American Oaks, I would imagine you're paying close attention to Monomoy Girl as she did beat you in her last start. But talk a little bit about Talk Vuv to me, and if that gives you a vote of confidence as to what we saw from Monomoy Girl today.
Well, yes, of course. You know, she confirmed we got beat by the best filly in the country. Now it doesn't mean we don't know where we are. You know, in the standing, we need to prove where we really belong. So I mean, as now we are looking at the Alabama. We see how she trained over the couple of weeks here, how she's got a breeze, and then make a choice. You know, it's a week by week thing.
Okay, well, we better let you go watch the race. Back to you, Greg.
Rudolph Pressetti went out on his own April of last year after spending the better part of a decade with the Hall of Famer Bill Mott and a few years with Patrick Biancone as well, and trying to make a name for himself.
Horse fell down behind the gate there and got up, and that was the 2, if I'm not mistaken. And that horse is 9-2 right now. Now, compression in here for Chad Brown. Some jurisdictions, if a horse does fall, they automatically make him a scratch, and that might be happening right now, guys.
Yeah, so look, I just saw the same thing. Paul saw the saddles off. It's an automatic scratch. Better safe than sorry. I mean, as chances are, falling on the grass, nice and soft, that compression is just fine. But why take a chance for one race? And racing associations, especially the ones here in New York, are so well aware of that now and so attuned to that's why you're seeing the scratch here. It's the right thing to do.
And it's obviously the right thing for the horse, and it's the right thing for the bettors as well. You've got the post-time favorite, though, now, which is the other Chad Brown horse, the 9 competition of ideas. But we want to protect everybody involved, horses and people as well, and bettors very importantly.
Yeah, he's right. You know, like Tom said, it could be an area out of things. Could have knocked the wind out of the horse. You don't know. Like, sometimes the last falls the horse's head, something like that. So, yeah. And, you know, listen, look, Irad's getting off the turf course. He could have been shooken up. It looks okay. But the equine health and awareness is number 1 when it comes to that. And Naira does a good job with it. So, you lose one of your choices here. But if you like Chad Brown, you get his other one now at 9-5.
So, compression, back to the barn, absolutely the key here. Health and happiness of the horse and rider here, and that's the first concern. So compression comes out. But Chad Brown still with competition of ideas in the race, who has now become the 6-5 favorite with the scratch of the 2.
Yeah, and like Andy said, all your multi-bets are going to go there. You're live in the pick 4, the pick 5, or the pick 6. You're going to get the 9 here. So a lot riding here on this filly by Speightstown. And listen, she's the one to beat. She was really good last time out, Andy. Probably a little unlucky to lose.
Yeah, I do want to say if you're alive in the double or the pick 3 to the number 2, you get a consolation payout, just so people are clear on that. Well, obviously we're alluding to the pick 4s, 5s, and 6s. Listen, I don't necessarily agree with what Tom's saying about competition of ideas. I'll see if 2 turns makes a difference. We have a slight difference of being there. I wouldn't take 6-5 on her. I mean, listen, I picked the 4-horse Taparoo on top, but I do think the favorite is very much the horse to beat.
Yeah, and I think the favorite is extremely vulnerable. 6-5, I get it, well-bred. But the turf pedigree is not present for this one. So I love having a favorite that I can throw out and look elsewhere. And that's what I'm going to do here. And I do move to the inside to the 4, Taparoo.
Everybody's on
I love Taparoo today, too, as well.
My 5, count on. 2 sprints to a route, and bred to go long for Kieran McLaughlin? No, not buying it.
Apparently, just another feather in the cap of the 4 filly, and there's a look at her. She has been training exceptionally for her return as well. So
and Dina Del Sor, who won the race in her debut, she ran in our Lake George on Friday, and she's a stakes winner, having won the Florida Oaks back at Tampa Bay. So she didn't just randomly run second to a mediocre horse. She was second to a very good quality horse with that trip as well. And obviously the layoff, and she's got to stretch out. And I think it's worth noting the dam at Taparoo, Silver Screamer, was a very proficient turf sprinter. I believe she may have wrapped up an owner's title for Mike Rapoli here a number of years ago in a rainy race sprinting on the turf. But her sire is Tappet, so that suggests she should be able to handle the distance.
Yeah, look, if anybody's wondering why they're taking so long to reload these horses, they have to change the gate completely. The 2 is no longer sitting above the starting gate. You go from the 1 to the 3. Everybody moves over a spot. All that needs to be done before they can load the horses, so that's what the delay is.
And also, remember, we want to let the bettors have a chance to make a change.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
you played
good point.
some plays. You didn't use the 2 horse. You want to make a play, or you have a different idea now. We want people to have a chance to play.
And guys, we talk about the X factor in this race, the first-time turfer, East Moon, the 10, but is that also the horse who's going to be out in front on the lead here?
That's a good question, man. It's tough to make the lead from that outside post, and I don't know. We'll see how fast she really is. It's a very good question. I mean, Javier's got to leave strong, don't you think, from the 9 post, and try to make that horse work and get over. And as you guys alluded, Kyoto's a horse that's been running in some fast sprints. Maybe she could show speed here also.
Hey, I think there's plenty of speed inside. The 5 and the 6 both, no deal, I think could show some speed as well.
So could Taparoo, frankly, if she breaks cleanly.
Right. 5 acting up a little bit. There is Kyoto for Kieran McLaughlin, stretching out for the first time in her 3rd career start. This tremendous starting gate crew here at NYRA doing their best to get her in line, and it looks like she cooperates. And Luis Saez will hop aboard. The last in, East Moon, her turf debut. She's shown sprint speed on the dirt. How fast will she be here? We're set for the nightcap from Saratoga to close out our weekend action. And again, don't forget, we're back on Monday. Far from done here, though. Let's see how the nightcap plays out. Here's Larry Colmus.
Ready for the start. They're off. A good beginning for Kyoto, who goes out to the early lead. And there goes that Spiteful in East Moon right on by. And that Spiteful now to the front. East Moon on the outside will sit back and run in 2nd position. Then a firing line of 5 right behind them with Quaff down on the inside. Kyoto next. And going very wide on that turn was No Deal, who carried out Semper Sententii extremely wide into the turn. So it's that Spiteful in front, a half length on East Moon through a 23.94 opening quarter mile. And then it's Quaff to the inside of Taparoo, and right behind them, Kyoto, Competition of Ideas, followed by Semper Sententii on the outside of Astaku Trail, and No Deal at the back of the field. Pretty tightly packed here, 6.5 lengths from top to bottom, led by that Spiteful, who has completed this first half mile. Up the backstretch in 49.05 seconds. East Moon, 3/4 of a length behind in 2nd. Quaff 3rd to the inside. Taparoo is 4th. Kyoto follows in 5th, moving for the turn. Then Astaku Trail is going to need a way through on the inside. They're followed by Competition of Ideas, No Deal, and Semper Sententii. Around the far turn, that Spiteful and East Moon, they're a neck apart. Quaff a length and a half off of them. Tap, tap, Taparoo next. Competition of Ideas is on the outside. Kyoto has come through it, seam down toward the insiders, into contention now. It is that Spiteful and East Moon. Quaff is third, Kyoto is fourth. Competition of Ideas, Astaku Trail, final 16th. The East Moon is the one to catch. Quaff is closing in. These two, Quaff getting to East Moon, and it's going to be Quaff. Quaff did it from East Moon, and then it was Competition of Ideas, followed by Astaku Trail in 1:36.73.
Stretching out, Quaff, best at the wire for Bobby Robato and Manny Franco aboard.
Yeah, this horse has had a really good trip, and Manuel Franco gave this horse another good ride. We saw him with a couple good rides on the turf yesterday, but who'd be the best? Attempted all the heavy lifting here.
Yep. Trips make the results. We've seen it time and time again. The best horse doesn't always win, but the best ride and best trip got it done. Nice job by Quaff stretching out. Slower races, easier trips last time, but boy, did she get a good one today.
And what about Bobby Robato? Bobby Robato is a small trainer that wins often. He knows what he's doing. I've known Bobby for over 30 years. Another great training job with him in the one-horse Quaff. And as far as our favorite goes, she'd never gone 2 turns before, Competition of Ideas. She took a couple of horses with her on the first turn. She may have been the best horse in terms of how wide she was on both turns, but she wasn't educated for a 2-turn race, that's for sure.
1:10.93 for East Moon, the 10-horn. There's Bobby Robato, your winning trainer. Congratulations. Getting the job done here in a competitive finale here at Saratoga. Quaff trains this one right into the winner's circle at 8-1 to close out our Sunday card. We'll be back with prices from the finale here in race 10 at Saratoga right after this. More to come on Saratoga Live. Quick look ahead to Monday's action as well when we come back.
They're on. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-old sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on Saratoga Live as our weekend action, opening weekend here at Saratoga, coming to a close here, and Bobby Robato, Manny Franco, owner Mark Keller, win with Quaff here, stretching out for the first time.
Yeah, congratulations to this filly by Intimisius out of Leighton Heat Mare. Wow. Where are we at right now? The Hot Spa. That's the name of the dam.
Hunch play of all hunch plays.
It is true. Quaff gets the job done, and that's going to make that pick 5 pay $3,900. If you'd have told me Monomoy Girl was going to be 3-5 and the pick 5 would pay $3,900, I would have told you were lying, but that's what happened today.
Can we go back in time?
I know, right?
Redo my ticket? Oh, my gosh. Continues to just be a phenomenal way to play. Incredible value in the Naira Bets late pick 5. Quaff gets the win to close it out, $18.40. And a pick 3 that came back $7.70.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. Now, we did have a scratch, so that is the consolation. But here is the pick 4 difference. You get $750. We had basically, say, Jason Service at $7 win. So the pick 5 again overpays, but look at the pick 6 carryover.
Yeah, 69,000 plus in that pool for the pick 6 on Sunday. Yeah, my apologies. The pick 3 was actually $95 there. Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along, 50-cent payout with an odds-on favorite. A Chad Brown turf winner, Guerriere. Bam Bam Blue, who might have been second choice for Jason Service. That comes back $3,900.
Probably the 3 hottest trainers in America were in there. Jason Service, Brad Cox, and Chad Brown.
Unreal. Tomorrow, we're back. We have Monday racing, and we'll go 6 days a week here. Of course, this first week, we opened on Friday, so it's a 4-day week. But every Monday, we are in action, and we're on television. The Caress, the Monday feature. And Morticia, she was a stakes winner here on the turf last year.
This is such a salty field and such a really good field. When you have 12 fillies lining up at 5.5 furlongs over this turf course, trip's going to mean a lot. So maybe you want to look for a price, but when you look at horses like Morticia, Fabian, and horses like Lull, they got a lot of class.
Looking forward to that. So join us again on Monday. We're on from 4 to 6 Eastern Time, Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. Top honors in the 3-year-old filly division. Monomoy Girl, she stands alone right now. 4th consecutive Grade 1 win. Trained by Brad Cox. He has a special one on his hands. What lies ahead for her? She is something else. We'll see you on Monday.